All right, we're back. It's been a little over a month. Sorry about that. Been some other more pressing needs and things going on. Last time, you guys, the adventurers, started off in Tanavar, where you guys initially discussed kind of what to do, decided on picking up Kalani's little search for herbs, but before that went over, or after making that decision, went and talked to Martek, saying that, you know what, you're more than willing to try to sell him some stuff after, if you find anything that's extra. I think in some sense you're just mollifying him, but at the same time you did say that you would potentially do that. Leaving from there, you went and found passage to Archenfalls on a barge. The Snapper. The Snapper was captained by Dak Sallow, and was carrying a very large crate. Took them a lot of effort to get onto the barge as you were kind of trying to get to this barge. At the same time as a couple people were securing that passage, I believe it was Artemis and somebody else, I can't remember exactly who, were talking with the local herbalist in Tanavar and finding out that, again, he was missing a bunch of stuff too, and that if you did go all the way to Archenfalls, that he would love for you to find a few things for him as well. When asked to be more specific, he was pretty basically like, hey, I'll take anything. I mean, I'm pretty much missing everything. So, anything you can find is something he wants. From there, you then got on the barge, took the barge across the lake, getting to Archenfalls about maybe an hour before sun's set, where you guys headed up into the city proper, seeing that it was kind of built in sort of levels or rings as it goes up a hill overlooking the river. Coming to the highest district, that's where you found the inn that you are staying at, which is called the Wayfarer's Rest, run by one Celeste. You were able to book some rooms, and then Morgoth decided that he was going to stay in his room while everybody else decided to go out for the evening. Artemis and Silva went to the Wayfarer's, to the Misty Tap, sorry, not the Wayfarer's Rest, the Misty Tap, where they met up with Celeste and her friend Alice, and were discussing sort of the lay of the land and kind of what's been going on. At the same time, Sealgair and Andal went back down to the docks to try to find out more about this crate that was on the barge. Andal, you guys, those two watched it kind of get put into a warehouse, and Andal did a little bit of snooping around and found his way into the warehouse, where he found the crate and took the time to try to get it open. And that's kind of where we ended last time and where we'll pick it up this time. You guys are currently in Archenfalls, and on the eastern edge of the lake, about a day's travel at least this way, by barge from Tanavar. And we'll pick it back up with Andal. You've just gotten enough of the nails pulled out that you can potentially get the thing up, and you start to push it up, getting it up far enough to kind of just barely see inside. There's not really a lot of light to see inside, but you notice that there is a glint of metal in there. What do you want to do? You want to try to get further open? You want to get a torch going? What do you want to do?
I don't know what this character even has. What's in my inventory? Items. Nice.
I will keep you guys informed. Remember, Sealgair is kind of loitering outside, and was able to deflect one set of guards coming her way. And we'll get back to her in a second, though. What do you do?
So you're saying I can kind of lift the lid up?
Yeah, you've got enough of the stuff that you could got the lid up enough that you can sort of see inside, but it's kind of dark. But even in this sort of darkness, you can there's still enough light that you can see a glint of metal inside. And there's something large inside, and it's got a glint of metal.
I will light a small torch.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I'll cut the torch in half and only light half of it. So now I have 8.5 torches.
Actually, just one match.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any matches. All he has is a.
I have a tinder box.
Tinder box. I mean, you could light the tinder and try to look in through that. I'll give you that.
I'll light some tinder and just try not to burn my hands.
Okay. Looking inside, you see a strange clockwork machine. It seems to currently be off, but has multiple folded up pieces of metal and a central core, kind of surrounding a central core. There are 2 openings on the central core, kind of on either side of it, and there are many strange crystals sort of more towards what you think is the front. On one side of the central core, you notice an engraved symbol that looks to be sort of like an eye, but the pupil of the eye looks to be more like it was like it's not a crystal, but it looks like it would be the design of a crystal, so to speak. And that is currently what you see.
What do I think it is?
We're not sure.
Have I seen anything like this?
You've never seen anything like this.
Interesting. And that looks like to be the only thing in the box.
You can give me an investigation check as you look around. Although I guess I didn't need...
Huge boinks.
Well, you got basically your passive investigation.
Nice.
Looking around inside of there, you notice that it's towards the bottom. You might have to actually get inside to get to this. You can see, I don't know, maybe about a 2.5 to 3 foot long tube. You would call it a map tube, maybe. It's made of leather and it's got like a little satchel kind of handle on it. But it's like this, again, remember this crate is about 6 feet high, so you're kind of at the top of it, so you can't just reach down in there to get it. It's in the bottom. You'd have to climb in to get it. While you're thinking about that, Sealgair, you're standing there kind of outside again. Remember, you're doing a few things kind of just to make it look like you weren't watching the place, even though you are. And it's about this time that you notice that well, you guys just hadn't seen it yet, but there looks like you can see light in one of the windows left of the main door where they put the crate in. What are you doing? A flickering light as if it was a torchlight.
I look around real quick to see if I can see any guards.
You don't see anybody else on the docks currently?
Okay, so is there any way I can run in there real quick and let him know that I can see the light from outside and he needs to put it out?
He went in through the side, but that's about it. Like there's the bigger gate, there's the bigger door here in the
Can I throw a pebble at the window?
You could.
All right, I'm gonna throw a pebble at the window.
All right, give me a real quick athletics check. The pebble comes up a little short, but bounces and does hit the wall. It just doesn't hit the thing.
I'm gonna try it again.
Okay, so you try it a couple more times. It's fine. Eventually hitting the thing, but even after the second one that kind of hits the wall, you see the light start to get brighter in the window, and eventually you see a guy standing in the window, kind of looking out with a torch, and it doesn't look like Andal.
Oh,
Andal, what are you doing?
Trying to decide if I want to look at the map tube or not. Oh, sorry. Let me think of what else I have.
I mean, I'm not saying it would be difficult to get in there and get it. I'm just saying You'll have to get inside to get it.
I know. Dang, I don't have one of those kinds of things. That kind of sucks. Something. 13, I think.
Okay.
The passive is just
it's
10 plus wisdom.
Yep.
Yeah, 13. I was hoping I had a grappling hook because I was gonna try to just like pick it up. I don't have that.
That is
I
true.
have a crowbar. If I were to lower it in there, would it give me enough reach?
Crowbar is usually about what, 2 feet?
Yeah, if I like dangle it from like as far down as I can hold it and try to like scoop, like pull the tube up with the crowbar against the side of the thing. Or the box.
2 feet plus your arm, I'll say you can try to do it. It will require a dexterity check to try to get it to hook the thing.
I will roll such checks. Look at my ability.
All right, so you kind of lean over on there and get the crowbar down, and you leaning as far down in there as you can get, and you hook it. Right about that time, you hear a faint tinkle, as if glass breaking, somewhere, and you're not sure where though.
Does it sound like it was coming from the box?
No, not from the box. It sounds like it's outside of.
It's somewhere else.
Somewhere else. You're not sure where, but definitely outside of the box. But you start to pull it up. Sealgair, your last rock does hit the glass and goes through. As it kind of goes through. But I mean, it's a small pebble. It's not really big, but it does break the glass, and so a little bit of one small pane of this glass kind of breaks out. And the guy who's in the thing looks out at you, and then he starts heading towards. He turns around and seems to go further inside, but you're not sure exactly where he's going. But you assume he's trying to leave the room. At the same time, you've got that thing pulled up. Andal, what are you doing?
I want to open and look at it real quick.
All right, so you pull open like the end of the tube, and inside you can see, like 4 rolled up kind of pieces of parchment that are almost the entire length of the tube, and then there's one smaller that's like almost scroll sized that's sort of in the center of them all. But it's only it's about scroll sized.
Can I tell what any of it says?
Not easily. You'd have to pull the stuff out to read it. And about that time, you hear as a door opens somewhere.
Oh crap!
And definitely, as you kind of look around towards what you would assume is the front of the warehouse, you can see the flicker of light of probably somebody with a torch or a lantern or something.
I forget. How well did I reset the door?
Well, you set the door on the side. This is towards the front.
No, I meant like how well did I reset the door I came in?
Because
I know it was trapped.
You didn't set the trap on the door. I thought you had kept it. Like I said, you put your thing in there and they were holding it up. So I assume you just left it that way.
Okay.
You see the light kind of brighten up, and you see it head across. It's not getting any closer to you, but it seems to be going across to another thing. And then you hear a as if another door is being opened up. Sealgair, outside, you see the kind of the front door to that warehouse opens, and the guy with the torch comes out. And at about that time, both of you hear, "Oi! What are you doing? You're breaking my windows! I'm gonna get in trouble for this! Stop throwing stuff! Are you drunk?" It's clearly yelling at you, Sealgair.
I was just trying to get your attention. I didn't mean to break the window. I was gonna see if you guys.
Oh, yes, got my attention. What do you need?
Are you guys hiring for like night watch or something like that? I'm looking for work.
Give me a deception real quick.
Oh crap! Well, I am looking for work.
I know you are, but it's still. I mean, that's not why you're outside, though.
Oh boy. Where are you, deception? Oh, yikes.
Well, it's going to be really good or really bad.
Oh, no.
He's like, No one looks for work at night. You should know there's nobody here. And then at that point, he's like, it's almost like if 2 and 2 come together, and you hear him go, "Ah, shit!" And he closes the door, and you see the light. You hear the Algar or Andal. Algar is in a completely different campaign. Andal, you hear the "oh shit," and you hear a and you see the light start to come in towards the warehouse. What are you doing?
Oh man.
Do I think I can hide the tube in my stuff?
It's pretty long. It's like 2.5 feet long.
Just grab it and run.
How long do I think it would take to make it look like the box hadn't been opened?
Well, you have to hammer the nails back in, so you're gonna make noise if you do that.
All right, screw it. Here's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
You say it's dark, right?
It is. Well, I mean, it's lighting up as the torchlight comes towards you. Clearly, who was ever in this, what probably is the front office, has a torch, and so he's now coming into the warehouse because he potentially believes that somebody's in here, and he's not wrong.
Yeah, he's not wrong. All right, I'm going to try to stealth around him and try to get back out the door that I left open.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
And I am going to take the tube with me. I'm going to
That's fine. That's fine.
roll the stuff back in and then hide it with me.
Okay, so give me a stealth check.
Yay!
20. All right, so he's you see the light coming towards, he's not coming directly towards you. It's like he's going through stacks of stuff. While the thing was just pushed into the main warehouse door, that entrance door is a little bit further over there, and it looks like he thinks maybe whatever's going on is in the stack. So he's kind of heading further away from you, and then he starts to come back, and then he starts heading closer to you. It's like he's weaving his way through whatever it is coming towards that direction. And his perception is wow.
Lucky motherfucker.
You kind of drop down. You kind of drop down, and as you drop down, you didn't realize that that part of the box had broken off, and you land on a piece of wood, and you hear it go, and he clearly hears it as well, and he says, "Who's there? Who's there? I'm gonna get the guards. You're gonna be in trouble." What do you do? And you can hear him start to move in your direction, clearly moving towards you.
I'm gonna try to stealth again.
Okay.
And go away and run away. That lucky person.
Sorry, not much I can do about that one.
Oh, he's lucky.
Roll. All right,
He's
so you
lucky.
start moving, kind of half speed as you kind of move through the things, and kind of you get away from and into some of the rest of the warehouse stuff. As you see him, you just get around as you see him come around the corner, and he kind of stops by the big one. And he sees the piece of wood on the floor, and you see him look up. And as you kind of get around, you see him look up, and that's the last you see because you're trying to get to your thing. Or you're trying to get to the other door. So let's give him another check.
Come on! This guy sucks!
He kind of looks up there. You make it maybe about another 30 feet when he's like, "This is even worse for you. These guys pay a lot of money for me. I'm gonna get you. I bet you I know where you're headed." And you hear him start moving sort of parallel to your course.
Okay.
What do you do now?
Where are the doors in this place again?
So there's a front door, which is
Mhm.
where he opened it up and started yelling at Sealgair.
Mhm.
That is about maybe 40 feet along the front side, so you're probably about maybe 60, 70 feet from there right now because you've started moving towards the side door. The side door is about 40 feet down the warehouse. It's near the back side of the backside, which is, the warehouse seems to be about maybe 50 by 60, something like that is what you're guessing. So you're maybe about 30 feet from that back door. And you can hear him moving quickly towards that door. Clearly he has, based on what he's been saying, you don't think he's seen you as much as he's probably heard you.
Okay.
Did he lock the front door?
You didn't hear it lock, but you
But
don't
the
know.
front door is also
you're further away, so
the front door is also like on the way to the door that I'm already going to.
no, it's not.
Oh, it's
It's
not.
the opposite direction.
All right, I'm gonna try to change direction then.
Okay, give me one more stealth check as you do that. Because you're changing direction, he assumes you're going towards the back door. 15. And you didn't get that.
The 27 that I really
You
wanted.
didn't get that 27. Oh, I should unpause this as well. Now that I think about it. All right, so
That would be
he
really helpful to
continues
have.
moving in the particular direction.
Hey.
It continues moving in that direction. You kind of stop and wait for a little bit as he continues, and you hear him go past. You hear him scrape past. You can see the light moving towards the back door. And he continues to say, "These guys are bad trouble, though. You should just leave now and drop whatever you stole because they'll kill you." And then you turn and head the other way. And he gets to the other end and seems to stand there and just keeps talking. As you kind of move around and get towards the front end. Give me one more stealth check. All right. So you make it to the front door and open it up very slowly and quietly. And you can still hear him saying, "I don't really want to do anything to you. I just don't want you to take anything. Just don't do anything. Just..." And then you close the door behind you quietly, and then Sealgair, you see Andal open the front door very slowly, and then kind of sneak out of it, and then just slowly close the door. He closes that as you kind of look and see you way down, not way down, but maybe about 100 foot down the way. You can see some guards, a couple of guards, the ones that you saw earlier, come around the corner and start this direction. You're not sure if they saw him come out the door. What are you guys doing?
Do I notice them?
Well, you just closed the door. She's looking in that direction because she was watching what was going on. What are you and Sealgair doing?
So I haven't noticed them, or I have noticed them?
You just closed the door and you've turned around. Sealgair has noticed them.
Can he see me?
Yeah, I mean, he turns around, you're there.
I'm gonna motion towards the direction of the guards, like hand signal or something. The guards are coming.
So you look in that direction and you can see there's two guards kind of walking. They've just literally come around the corner and have started to walk this direction. They seem to be talking to each other. What are you doing?
I am going to. Am I still standing close to the door to the warehouse?
You just closed the door. You close the door, turn around, started to maybe just start walking. And you saw her do some motion, and you look. And you see them.
I'm going to. What's the best way to play this off? Oh, I have. I'm gonna take that piece of tinder that I had lit before, relight it again, like in the palm of my hand.
Okay.
Like it would look like I was lighting like a smoke of some kind. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
That thing. I'm gonna do that and walk. We're over on the docks, right?
Yeah, you're on the sort of the dock front. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna pace leisurely over to the other side, like I'm already walking that the same direction the guards are, away from the warehouse.
Okay. All right. Give me a deception check.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Hold on. I need to roll this twice because they're far enough away that they have disadvantage. Okay. So you kind of light it real quick, get close to your face. Sealgair, you see him kind of light something in his hand and then move it close to his face. You see a few embers come off, and then he starts walking towards your direction. The two guardsmen don't seem to notice anything so far. You walk quickly away, get close to Sealgair, and the two of you she falls into line with you, and you guys just walk down the dock. You guys get maybe about, I don't know, maybe 100 feet away. The guards are just about to pass by that warehouse when the door flies open. Hey, we've got somebody in here. Somebody's trying to rob the place. You two, help out, help out. and they kind of rush in, and you guys walk off into the night.
Cool. Let's go back to the tavern that we were staying
back
at, or
at
whatever.
the Misty Tap.
Yes.
Celeste and Alice have been talking to Artemis and Silva. Celeste is like, yes, but if I remember correctly, you wanted to speak with my contact. Is that not correct? Artemis, was it?
Yes. Yes, I would like to talk to her. Talk to them.
Well, so let's see. She kind of looks around the tavern for a little bit. Says, unfortunately, he is not here this evening. But we might be able to find him down at the what's the other one called? It's right here on my list, but can't see it. Might be able to find him down at the Thirsty Winch.
Sounds like a fun place.
It has its moments. That is down near the docks. Normally my favorite place to go, but I can direct you fine folk to it if you'd like.
Okay. Remind me why we were doing this, Peter. I think we were just looking to see what's going on in the area, right?
You were curious about the rumors of spirits haunting the woods.
That's right.
And Celeste had said not normally her area of expertise, but she had heard through some contacts of hers that what once had turned was just stories seems to have gotten more concrete in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I would love to go down there.
And you would ask to see if you could talk with her contact. That's what.
Okay, and can I do an insight to see if I think it's a setup or it's actually a?
Sure.
I mean,
remember, she mentioned this while you guys were going into the inn. And then
okay, well, that's fine then.
Hey,
yeah, never mind.
Did you guys? And she said, "I'll be at the Misty Tap later, if you want to try to talk and see if they're there." And now she's saying, "Well, he's probably down at the Thirsty Winch." You can still do the insight if you want. I'm not trying.
No, it's okay.
I'm not trying to stop you. I'm just reminding you how you got to this state is all.
That's all. Yeah, I mean it's not a trap necessarily. It's not.
It doesn't seem like it. At least, I mean, so far, you guys have been chatting for like 30 minutes here in the Misty Tap. So
yeah,
you've seen. I mean, during that time, you've seen there's 3 barmaids. One of which seems to, like you talked about before, which we talked about last time, seems to be a half dwarf. One is clearly, as you've been watching them move through, one has a bit more grace to her step and is clearly, as she comes by and picks up some drinks once, you notice a slight tip to her ear, probably a half elf. And the third one looks to be just a normal is not really the right way to do it. Looks to be a normal dietary woman. They've been kind of running the tables. Tables seem to be relatively full this evening of slightly higher clientele, in your opinion. Mostly seems like merchants, maybe, of various types. Maybe some of the local lords retinue, because the way that the Sealgair Kingdom is run is basically very feudal. So the city is not run by like a sheriff it probably has a sheriff, but it's not run by a sheriff. It probably has a local lord that oversees the city. And so possibly some of the people here may be from his estate, from his retinue. So slightly higher clientele, maybe some minor, like maybe a knight or two, some of his men-at-arms. That kind of people are here. Not so many, you don't notice any kind of dock workers, no woodsman types, not even really any farmers. Although it's possible one of the guys who's sitting in there, he looks a little bit rougher than the rest, but is still wearing somewhat fine clothing. He might be a farmer. Possible. I mean, it's not impossible for there to be some farmers who could be somewhat rich, especially if they own their own land.
Yeah, own a lot of land. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely. Thank you for information. I'll buy them a couple more rounds, and would now be a good time, you think?
We can go. She looks at Alice for a second and saying, and Alice is like, "Oh yeah, go right ahead. We're really busy here. It's not like I have a lot of time to speak with you anyway, and I certainly don't have time to offer up some of our typical companionship arrangements. Clearly too much going on. No, that's what Celeste says too. That's what Alice says to Celeste. It looked like Celeste sort of was implying something without saying anything, and Alice is kind of like, go. I can't. It's too busy.
Okay.
So Celeste says, all right, then off we go. Let us head to the docks. It's my favorite place in all of the
city.
it
seems to always be something
all of the town.
Things happening all the time. Guards running this way and that way.
So she starts heading you down the hill. Or she takes her leave of the thing, kind of waves at Alice as she leaves, and she starts heading out into the night and down the cobblestone streets that slowly turn into less cobblestone as it heads down the hill.
Brian, are you coming with or are you staying?
Silva, whose mic seems to be broken again.
Why don't we go ahead and head on, and then if he comes, that's cool.
Yeah.
He may be flirting still. I can't remember if he's flirting with the one I'm going with or not.
Yes, he was. I'm assuming he's following. So you guys start heading down the hill. About, I don't know, maybe 10. It really to get down the docks. This village is like maybe 500, 750 people, something like that. So it's not super huge. This town isn't super huge. So it only takes you maybe 10 minutes to get down the hill, quite frankly, where you kind of get on the docks. And you guys reach about the bottom of the hill about the same time that Andal and Sealgair kind of reach that same street to start heading up. So other than Morgoth, who's in his rooms, you guys have now kind of come across each other. It's up to you if you wish to acknowledge each other, because Celeste has only seen you she's seen you two, Silva and Artemis, quite a bit because you've been chatting for a while, but she only saw the other two once when he kind of checked in. She might or might not recognize him.
Okay, I'll just nod at him and then head on my way, and if however they want to play it. So
Sealgair and Andal, you see them heading down the docks, and with the person who's offered you guys, the innkeeper, and she's speaking. She's giving them something like, and right over there is the main fish market of the city. I just kind of give them sort of tour highlights in the dark, but and if you head down this road, if you head down as she said, if you head down the docks here, or if you go back up those two roads and head towards the east on that one, you can get to the bridge that goes over the river onto the other side, which will take you to. She kind of points across the way, and you can see a few flickering lights on the other side of the river. And that over there is kind of over there. Beyond that is the woods. Over there is where some of the woodcutters and more the herbalist, I think, is over there. A few other people of that nature live on that side of the river. Still part of the town, but just trying to be closer to the Archenwood. And she kind of then starts turning and walking down the docks away from the warehouse you guys were just at, but towards another thing. And you can sort of hear even now some lively music.
Sounds like there's definitely a ruckus on that side. A lot of things going on over there. Probably a bit more lively to find information, though.
Yeah. Sealgair and Andal, what are you guys doing?
I was going to keep going because I don't know if Sealgair got seen by somebody, but I also don't know if I was seen, so...
Okay, so you're heading back up to the inn?
Yes, okay. I'm going to continue.
Right.
I don't want to be seen over here.
Right. So you kind of you see Artemis kind of nod at you, and don't worry about your dex, Cat. Some stuff got updated, so it's very possible something's just not calculating correctly. So you just keep on going by as he nods to you. So Artemis, you see Andal just keep going straight up the street. He doesn't even acknowledge your presence.
Very nice. I did follow behind. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm there with him.
You walk for maybe another 2-3 minutes, and the music and the the laughing and boisterous crowd noise gets louder and louder until you clearly see the Thirsty Wench up ahead, kind of a wench holding a beer, kind of doing kind of thing on the sign. And Celeste comes up to it and says, "May I present the hellhole, the Thirsty Wench?" Let's go inside and see if Rasputin is inside.
Charming.
And she heads inside, and you go inside, and it is just chaos. Is probably the best way to put it. The tables are kind of in just various places. You see groups of people around various tables, around various people. Like think of it as a nightclub that's super popular. So a crush of people inside. You kind of are pushing through people just to get to the front.
Right.
A really great place if you're a thief trying to take money and stuff from people.
Okay, hold on to my.
It's very clear right away that you're like, wow, with people kind of packed in this much, you're almost always hitting somebody.
Yeah, move into like one of the inner pouches of my robe.
Yeah, I'm definitely moving my stuff too.
Celeste starts speaking louder, trying to get over the din. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Well, let me go see. Well, let's go find the bartender. Maybe he'll know if he's here. And kind of pushes through the thing to get to the front. A few people kind of look at her and are about to say something, and then they recognize who it is and don't say anything. A couple other people clearly are new or sailors from the dock or something like that she bumps into, and they kind of turn and kind of give her a look, and then give her a second look based on the clothing she's wearing, in the sense that it's a bit more, finer clothing than the rest of the people around here. So they kind of, you see sort of a thought cross between the two of them. But she seems to not notice it. And she finally, with you two in tow, make it up to the bartender. Behind the bar is, let's see who runs the Thirsty Wench. Is a half-elf. He kind of turns and says, Celeste, my dear, it's good to see you slumming it with the rest of us. What can I do for you? And she's like, I'm here to help some clients of the inn. I would come down here anyway, just to see you, Phelan. I know you love me so much, but what do you need? She's like, have you seen Rasputin this evening? And Phelan kind of is like, your boy toy. I knew you'd enjoy that one. He's over there. And turning, you could see a about 6.5 foot tall, gray-skinned man, kind of drinking down a beer, and he slams it down, and you hear a, pay up! That is number 10. You can hear kind of through the din, and a few people just shake their head and throw a couple of copper around the table. She's like, how could I miss that? Good call.
Boy toy. Raising an eyebrow to her.
Boy toy. Phelan just jokes. He's just a good friend of mine. When he showed up here a year back, I gave him some work for a bit. We needed a bouncer in the inn. It was a bit rough times about a year ago. Maybe a little bit longer than that. A group of thieves were coming through the town, so I gave him a bit of time and a bit of money, and he has since become a woodsman. So better hours for him, I think. Thanks, Phelan. Pardon?
Seems like a boisterous type and good person to have in your corner. I understand.
Very much so. Let us go see him. And she kind of pushes through the crowd again with you two and gets to his table. And as he gets close, the guy goes, Celeste, my friend, my buddy, my evening companion. And she just kind of shakes her head and says, No. I've brought a couple of people who wish to speak with you about troubles in the wood. And when she says that, his boisterousness kind of drops a bit. And he kind of like, oh, that. You two. You don't look like the woodsman type.
No,
What do you need?
I'm here to find some things in some herbs and so forth, and
Well,
being
good
kind of
luck.
man of the cloth.
The
Well,
woods are haunted by strange spirits.
well, and I'd hope to maybe help with that and see to learn more about it. And Celeste assured me, if anyone would know, you would. So that's why we're here. And
Celeste,
can I buy you a drink?
you see literally the almost the entire table is filled with glasses on it. He says, "Sure, I'll take another ale, Phelan. Another ale over here, and not the watered down kind. I know your type too well."
So yeah, I'll buy him a drink, and so we just off the boat, and like I said, I'm here to find some.
Oh, that has a strange connotation to it, my friend.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it though? But Celeste has led us well, and keeps us from trouble, and she runs a wonderful inn, as you know. So can you tell me more about these spirits?
Oh, well, I don't necessarily have perfect first-hand knowledge. I did hear a couple days ago when I did try to go in, I did see some strange, ghostly, looked like, how do I put it? It looked like a headless man on a horse, but it was very transparent and translucent. And normally that wouldn't bother me too much, but the noises that went with it and the disturbances in the ground and things made me just make another think about it for a moment. But not only that, but a couple of my friends have been missing for the better part of 2 weeks now. They went in saying that they had found a place they'd found a very large tree in the forest, and they were going to go cut it down. Woodsmen there, figuring that they could get so much wood out of it that they might not have to do anything else for the rest of the winter. And I was like, seems like a very good plan, but they never came back. So when I went in to find them, I don't know, a couple days later, I was chased out by, again, these spirits. And then, so I gave it about another week and went in again and made it in an okay distance. If all we were going to do is cut trees on the periphery, we're fine. Like, I can still make money. But if I get in more than 200-300 feet, the noises, the mist comes up, the noises come up, strange spirits, occasionally these walking dead show up. And while I pride myself on being able to take care of myself, even my axe was unable to affect these things.
Oh, so you did strike one of them then?
I tried, but it went straight through it.
Yeah, that's the problems with dealing with the spirit realm. You're obviously wise to get out of there, because without some otherworldly patronage, it is hard to deal with these things. Does that remind me of any type of ghost or spirit that I know of, looking at my character sheet, that I haven't actually remembering much from? Probably Arcana, maybe?
Yeah, you can try to do an Arcana check.
Oh, good. Or history. Which one would be better, Kyle? I rolled Arcana.
What he described might be ghosts, maybe, because he said it was kind of transparent looking and that sort of stuff. So maybe ghosts. Hard to say. And I mean, clearly, if he's talking about sort of zombie or Walking Dead, maybe there's zombies there as well. That's sort of what he's implying. But he sort of implied that he tried to swing through a spirit, and that didn't seem to do anything.
So, are these, perhaps, is there a cemetery? Something has to have been disturbed, I would expect, and it must be cutting into your
not
work.
that I know of.
Are you one of the few woodsmen that still goes back in? Or do you just skirt on the outsides now?
No, I've been mostly staying on the outsides. Like I said, every time I try to go in, which has been a couple times since my friends disappeared, I have been accosted by these strange spirits.
Looking over to Celeste, is she bored, or is she? What are her reactions?
She doesn't really have any reaction to it.
Okay.
at all?
Makes sense. Well, perhaps you would during the day. Does it matter? If you come during the day, would you lead us to this place? We are looking for guides to find these herbs in the best places.
Sure, I can take you in part of the way, sure.
Huh. Excellent, excellent. And you
But
would be
in return, you would help me find my friends?
Yes, yes, of course. I mean, I'm sure. Hopefully, nothing has happened to them. It's probably just hidden somewhere and having trouble getting out.
All right, this sounds acceptable to me. Meet me here on the docks in the morning.
Looking at the number of glasses on his table, the morning early or mid morning?
When the cock crows.
Raising my other eyebrow. Well, thank you. It's good to meet you. We'll see you then.
Till then.
And we will find your friends. Do not fear.
Fair enough. Celeste, stay. Drink some more with me. Celeste kind of looks like, I have to get back and run an inn. But tomorrow night. Come up. We'll speak. After your grand adventure with these two. And their friends. I believe they have some friends, too.
We do. We do. It's not just the two of us, although we are competent. It's always good, again, to have friends. And kind of half bow to him, nod at him, and then pay for his drink. And is Celeste drink or anyone else drink there?
Not during the time, no.
Okay. So just leave.
Okay.
Celeste seems very interesting. He's incompetent. I mean, most people would flee when they saw a ghost or a specter like that.
He is a Verdurian. Or, sorry, I went into his voice. As you guys head outside and she finally doesn't have to shout anymore, it's like, he's a Verdurian. The Northman. I don't know what brought him here into Diary lands. Oh, sorry. Searly lands. But he he is washed. He's here. Quite a ways from the coast. I'm surprised he hasn't found a way to do fishing or something like that, or barge traffic on the lake. It seems more like what a Verdurian would want to do, but no, he wanted to do guard duty and eventually this woodsman gig. So not sure why, but what it is. Seems like a
story there.
Stand-up fellow.
To know you, I'm sure he is. I mean, he seems very straightforward. If we had offended, I'm sure we would know. But let's get back to the inn or to the entertainment. Talking about the other bar. And I'm kind of looking over at Brian for that to see what he's doing.
I think it's probably time for us to turn in, don't you? Got a big day tomorrow.
Yeah, remember you did see those guys go past you without even responding.
Oh yeah. So,
gotta go see what they're up to anyway.
Okay. So yes, let's head back.
All right, you guys head back, and Celeste takes you back, and again throws up a few more sights on the place, and you guys eventually make it back to the Wayfarer's Rest. Bid your adieu from Celeste, and head upstairs. What are you guys doing? Andal and Sealgair, you guys made it back while they were doing that. So let me come back to you guys real quick. You guys make it back. What are you doing? So you're already at the end. Sealgair, yours is the only armor class that's not working. Not sure why. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because everybody else I just checked and they're all correct, but only yours is broken. Oh well. We'll just remember that it should be 17. So
okay.
It's all good. And everything here is... Oh, actually I can do this, which will automatically update it. I wonder if that's what's going on with everybody else. Oh, actually, Artemis is also broken, I think. Yeah, because he should have a chain shirt.
Oh, that's right. I changed it.
Yeah, you should be 6. You should be a 15. I mean, I can manually I can manually put it in, so I'm kind of curious if maybe Silva's and those guys are manually. Yeah, everybody who was correct, it was manually already set. So
Okay.
I just updated it to manually be set. So it should be fine. I'll figure out why. This is just one of those things where I updated to the latest version of this thing, which you guys know for the other game. But that it's also on this one, and it's probably just something that's missing. So it's all good. So
Yep.
Sealgair and Andal, you guys make it back to the inn. What do you do?
Can we find a private place and roll out that scroll and look at
So
it?
there's sort of the bottom when you come into the entry room. So this inn is different than what you're normally expecting from an inn. It literally is just an inn. So there's sort of this entryway with sort of a sitting area, not really a sitting area, but sort of a common lobby kind of area. There is a table here and a place to sit, but there's like they don't offer food and drink. What they do is they offer room service where they provide food and drink where you basically order it and it comes from somewhere else. They go get it and bring it to you. So there's no like tavern downstairs or anything like that. But like I said, there is a table and chairs you could sit at down there. Otherwise, you could try to go up to your rooms. Those are probably the only places that you've got in this kind of.
We probably want some privacy while we're looking at this, so maybe up to the room.
Okay. I don't remember if everybody got their own room. I know that Morgoth did. I know that Silva did.
I think we were just having. Oh well, no. I was rooming in a common room. I think didn't several of us get together?
I don't remember
I
exactly.
don't remember.
So you guys, go ahead.
I think it was me, the only one that got the single room.
Yeah,
'cause
this
I was
place
paying
only
for the
has
room.
rooms, so like there's
Oh.
no common room place in this. It's like only rooms.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that got a single room. I think I got the rest of the doubles.
Okay.
'Cause I remember I was the one paying,
So Morgoth
and they didn't say anything.
Yeah. Okay. So, so you guys have two more rooms. Morgoth is currently in one of them.
Yeah.
So you could either go into there, or you guys could use the other room if you don't want Morgoth to know what's going on. Kind of rude, but
I mean, we can see if he's awake.
no. This is just Sealgair and Andal. You guys are at this time on the dock in the bars. I forgot about. I need to. They're going to get back way before you guys do, so I'm going to give them a chance to potentially look at things. So do you guys just go into the empty room or the room with Morgoth?
I just go to your room. We just need privacy to look at it, so I don't care where we go.
You guys don't trust Morgoth.
Do I know which room Morgoth's in? I forget.
Oh, I'm assuming it's the same room as you're in because you're sharing a room.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll go to my room.
Okie dokie.
Okay, going inside there. Again, you open up. It's a somewhat smallish room with two beds. Morgoth is currently sitting at a small desk, probably doing something. I don't know. Morgoth, what are you doing?
Playing cards.
With
Solitaire.
yourself? Okay, so he's playing some sort of card game with himself.
Well, you know
As
how
the door opens up and in comes Andal and Sealgair. Andal throws something on the bed, and then what do you guys do?
Look what we found! Oh my god, look what we found!
Yeah, so we found, we went into the box, and this was in the box, so we're going to look at it.
Okay. Opening it up, inside you kind of pull out the parchments and stuff like that. You pull out 4 parchments that when you put down, there's clearly some kind of plans on them, and you kind of recognize parts of that contraption you saw inside on one of them, on one of the pages. And then when you kind of pull out another page, you realize it goes with it. And in fact, now you notice that on the bottom right corner of each thing is sort of a label, and 3 of the pages all say widow on them, and they all seem to be just various schematics, for lack of a better term, of that device. The 4th one, though, shows some different device, and on it says Spider, spelled S-P-Y-D-E-R.
What does it look like?
It's like a small, it looks similar, multiple legs, not a multiple leg device that but based on if you're reading the things quite correctly, it's much smaller than the other thing. Like maybe 6 inches. Whereas the thing you were just looking at the height of those the appendages that were kind of pulled in together in the core, the height of those appendages was about 5 feet. Like they almost reached the top of the box. So that thing is pretty big. And based on that and looking at these sort of things and the markings on it, you realize that sure enough, the legs on the bigger one look like they collapsed to 5 feet. And if that's correct, then this other wing is maybe about 6 inches in diameter, like the whole thing. So it's really small, at least it tend to be. But these are like schematics. The last thing, however, is an actual like scroll that's rolled together and has a is wax sealed with that same symbol on it that you saw on the device, an eye with like sort of a crystalline looking pupil.
I've seen that eye before.
Give me a. You can either do history or arcana or religion. Any of those would be fine.
Do I recognize the eye?
You can try as well.
What'd you say?
History, arcana, or religion.
I try to.
I mean, they're opening up the eye. It's like part of the like somebody did a signet ring of it, and it's
They're all the same.
wax sealed.
I don't know. Crap.
What about you, Morgoth? You're going to try it as well.
Getting it. I just can't find a history. Oh, there it is. Got it.
So all of you kind of look at it and you're just like, it doesn't ring any bells. It doesn't. You've never seen this before of any sort. But it does seal whatever this scroll, this message is. Scroll, I should say. I don't know if there's a message or something else.
Well,
inside.
do you want to wait for the others to come back to open the scroll, or do you want to open the scroll now? But my recommendation is to try not to break the seal or to copy the seal before we break it.
Yeah, I'm not going to open the sealed thing yet.
Okay. You guys just gonna pour over those plans while you're waiting for the rest of them to come back? Those schematics?
Yeah. I also, I would imagine I have some sort of ability to forge seals.
Do you have forgery? Do you have a forger's kit?
Oh, maybe I don't. Never mind, I don't have that.
Okay, then you do not. I mean, if you wish to try to do it. It's just a dexterity check. But if you have a forgery kit, then you can, and you're proficient in it, you can add your proficiency.
Well, if I take time to examine the seal, can I get advantage?
I don't know. Is that a special power you have? I don't think so.
No, I meant like if I become really familiar with it.
No, not really.
Okay.
No, because this is forgery, not like disguising or anything like that. Like,
Okay.
you really
we'll
need
just
to
look
have
at
a
the
forger's kit to do it.
yeah. We'll just look at the plans. Maybe Silva can help me if we want to reseal it after we open it.
Okay, so you guys are studying the plans when maybe about 20-30 minutes later, you hear some outside the door, and Artemis and Silva, you hear Artemis and Silva are outside. What are you guys doing? As you've come upstairs, you didn't see anybody in the lobby area. You come upstairs, what are you guys doing? You're back at the inn.
Well, I'm gonna just go upstairs into the room, I guess. Sounds like we're definitely gonna have some undead things to be very careful tomorrow.
Yeah. So you hear Artemis outside the door saying something about undead things, and it's clearly Artemis's voice. So Andal or Sealgair or Morgoth, are you guys going to do anything?
I shall open the door.
I mean, you open the door and look outside, and Artemis and Silva have went past, and they're at the other doors to the other two rooms. Silva's actually continuing down to the end of the hall where her room is at. The other one is right next to you. And yeah, Artemis, you see Morgoth peek his head out the door.
Not at them.
Look at this thing Andal found.
found.
So I looked in the box.
So yeah,
But yeah, I guess Silva, let's actually it's a good time to talk anyway, since we do have a guide in the morning. So
all right, you guys
I
all
looked-
kind of crowd into this one smallish room. It's
Yep.
big enough to hold you all, but still, it's kind of small. It's a tight fit. And as you come into the room, you see on the bed a 2.5 foot, 3 foot long kind of leather tube. Looks similar to kind of like the map tube that you guys have. And on the bed are like 4 pieces of, I don't know, 3 foot by 3 foot parchment that have drawings all over them, and then a scroll kind of sitting on the other bed.
This new?
You've never seen this before, no?
No, I know. I'm asking them. Not everybody at once.
What was the question? I'm
I
sorry
didn't
if I
find
missed the
it.
question.
What is this?
So I
This
went in the
seems to be new.
box that we saw. I have no idea what it is, but these 3 show the thing that was in the box.
In the box.
Are they identical copies, those 3?
No, they're it's 3 schematics. One is sort of an exterior schematic showing a variety of external kind of components to what it's very clear to you as you're looking at it is a clockwork device of large size. You know, you've seen sort of the doormen that Fizzbolt has, which is, you know, basically about maybe 2.5, maybe about 1.5 feet tall and not much bigger than that. This thing dwarfs that. This thing is basically larger than a Clydesdale horse. That's how big this thing is based on the thing you're seeing. So the first one of them shows sort of the exterior contraptions of it. Another one is sort of some zoomed in things on various pieces of it. Things like the actuators and the clockwork gears inside of the legs, clearly legs based on what you're seeing. And then another part shows all the the last one shows all the internal workings of the core. And based on what you're reading, these internal workings, this thing is intended for military uses, because the 2 exit holes that you see on the external thing, on the external schematic, are intended for to fire out magical fire. Like,
So it's
think of them as flamethrowers.
tanks. So it's
But
not
what's
mine.
interesting for you, Silva, as you're kind of reading through this, there's one small breakout on that last page that, as you look at it, you're not sure if you're correct or not, but you think that is a headset for somebody to actually put on their head.
Like,
and it's very clear from all of this, though, these are plans to make whatever this is. So technically, at this point in time, you could make one of these from these plans.
Okay.
So
based on everything you see, it would probably cost you somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,500 to 2,000 gold pieces, but you could do it.
Yeah. Would I be able to copy these plans?
Yeah, I mean, think of these as sort of, you know, alchemical formulas, artificer plans, that sort of stuff. They're that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'd like to.
And, sorry, there's one thing which is a single schematic. Also, all 3 of those talk basically, from what you can see, this thing is being called the Widow. You don't know why it's called the Widow, but that's what the name of the plan seems to be. And the other one, the one sheet page, is a thing called the Spider. And based on what you are seeing through it, it looks like basically it's meant as sort of a surveillance or stealth kind of unit where it's small and you know, go through and provides, you know, surveillance capability.
I feel like that plan is much more worth it to have than the other one.
And again, it looks like this thing also works with whatever that headset is on the other. Like, it's what you're seeing on that small breakout is in essence a set of goggles that you could put on based on what you're seeing from the thing. You probably need to do a little more experimenting with that part. That particular piece of it doesn't make as much sense to you as the rest of it does.
This was all in the box? I mean, was the actual creep thing that it made in a box?
Yes. The answer to that question for you, Andal, is yes.
I mean, yeah, it was in the box. It looked weird. I couldn't really tell what it was, so I was like, I'm gonna take the tube, and then there was a guy in there.
Wait, you went in the box and they saw you in the box.
No one's, as far as I know, no one saw me in the box. Like when Sealgair and I left, they still thought I was in there, and he never saw me.
Yeah, but it was very clear.
I imagine
from what
by
you saw,
now they.
It's very clear from what you saw that they know somebody went into the box because they saw.
Yeah, someone knows I went into the box, though. That is true.
Someone knows that someone went into the box because you're not sure that they saw you.
So there are a lot of people in town now, right? A lot of because
there seems again there was a mention in passing that there seems to be a lot of merchants in town. Now, I will also remind you that there is one more piece of paper which is the size of a scroll that is sealed by some wax with a design on it sitting on the bed as well.
Yes, we do have this. This is the one thing we have not opened because I don't know what's in it. I also don't know what who the seal belongs to.
Yeah, so can I look at it and see if I recognize the seal?
Sure.
Or if it's
you can give me a history, arcana, or religion check, your choice. Same thing, Silva.
History?
Same thing, Silva, although...
Yeah.
Woohoo!
You've never seen this at all. You've never seen anything like this at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to give it a try anyway. You said I could do Arcana, correct?
Yep. Any Arcana, history, or religion, any one of those, because you're assuming it's something of that nature.
Yeah. Didn't do so hot.
I would say that here's the answer that you get, Silva. You've never seen anything of that nature or anything like that, but being an artificer, you know that artificers somewhere usually on all of their devices, have a symbol of some sort that they put on their devices. Like, you know, for instance, that on Fizzbolt's devices, there is a forked lightning bolt that's always somewhere.
So I can assume this is somebody's watermark.
Probably an artificer's symbol. I will also say that you guys very much would recognize Martek's stuff as well. His is 3 hammers sort of in a fan-like pattern. So all the handles pointing down towards one central point and the hammers coming out. Which you saw on his armor and weaponry when you were looking through his shop. So those are the 2 that you clearly know. And I'm sure, Silva, you would know several others if you saw them. I mean, It wouldn't be as difficult as this one, but you've never seen this one.
So can I assume it might be an out-of-town, like a different, based in a different city?
Possibly.
Deal?
Possibly, but you do know that this particular device was put on, or this particular crate was put on a barge in Tanovar.
That's true.
I'm not saying it couldn't be from somebody else, but I'm just from somewhere else. It's just at least the place you know of origin. And remember, Dak had mentioned that it was coming from he had said that it was from some of the mining, from one of the mining companies.
Okay.
So would I know, like, scrolls, if you do a detect magic on a scroll, does it identify as magical, or
yeah, probably
if there was a magical trap?
It would show.
Let's do an identify.
Oh, you want to do identify or detect magic?
I'm sorry, detect magic on the scroll.
You can do a detect magic on the scroll, or potentially.
I'm doing it as a rich. Well, actually, I haven't done anything. I'll do a spell slot with it. So
okay.
I'll pull out my magnifying glass and
if you start looking over the scroll, it is non-magical.
Anything? Look over the plans or anything in the room?
Nothing. Well, things in the room are magical. I mean, clearly some of the stuff that some of your compatriots are wearing are magical. But
what about the tube? Does it have any like tracking on it or something?
Magical as well.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was worried about. So it doesn't seem to be magical. So hopefully they're not tracking it by that means. So maybe we're safe there.
All right. I just didn't. So we can open this thing that's sealed or not. It'll probably provide more insight on what this stuff is.
Well, I mean, these are plans for weapons, right? I mean, they're gonna somewhat.
I would assume that it might be supposed to be used against those eco-terrorists that they were talking about.
Or it could be some sort of activation instructions, maybe. tell you how to build them, and then the scroll tells you how to activate them. I don't know.
Yeah,
Kind of
Well-
like my owner's manual.
but I imagine it's
That
supposed to be
helmet?
used against the people they're fighting when they
So
over.
it's not really a helmet; it's just a pair of goggles.
Oh, okay.
Is what implied from the
So
from the
let's
schematics. And I would
look-
say that you didn't look enough in the crate and all to determine if there was a set of goggles or anything in there. You didn't look that closely.
let's copy that symbol somewhere, and open the scroll.
Well, I would like to do my. I was intending to copy the symbol. I'm going to do my best to copy as much as possible of all the.
Well, can someone reattach the seal if we open it?
That's why I was also waiting, because that is something I've been considering. I can't. I'm not a forger. Like,
Yeah,
I can
that's what I'm-
try. I've done it.
Well,
but
since it's,
no,
I have a question out of character. Since it's an artificer symbol, could I have been trained? Like, would that kind of be in my wheelhouse to copy?
Copying an artificer symbol is actually illegal.
Illegal? Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's
yeah,
tantamount
so it's
to
all
forgery.
forgery.
It's
that's the
tantamount
point.
to, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Impersonation.
Impersonation.
So, but
we
the point
just
is,
wanna-
I want to
we
be able
just
to reseal the
reference.
thing.
Well, if we open, I mean, I think we're already in trouble if we hold on to this stuff anyway.
That's why I want to copy it so we can give it back. Like, kind of just drop it back, and maybe they'll pick it off our back, but we'll still have it.
That probably won't happen.
I don't think that will work, but that was also what I was thinking.
Well, we
I
can always
don't think we
plant
should
it
hold on to
somewhere
that.
else.
Oh yeah, no, I don't want to hold on to this scroll
No, we don't. We
or
don't want
this tube at
no.
all.
And if the seal
look.
is usually done by a ring, like it's a symbol. I'm assuming it's actually like a symbol
It's an
pressed
actual
into the
pressed into the wax. Yes,
wax. Yeah,
it's a
so I mean,
typical
that's,
signet style seal of wax. Yes.
yeah, that's not just drawing it; it's making the ring and making the symbol. Then I don't know if we have those resources.
All right. So
You
let's
want to
open
open it or not?
Open.
No, why would we
Yeah,
open it?
open it.
It's obviously it's going to
I
be
vote not
some
to
rich
open it.
government. Some type of
Open
thing like
it.
that.
At this point, I don't think it's a good idea to open it.
Yeah, they did say
Open.
the guy did say that the people who own this thing are very dangerous and
Yeah.
will kill
So
people.
we're
That being
already
said,
in trouble.
you weren't sure if he meant the warehouse or that thing particularly. By the
Yeah.
I assumed that he meant the people who had the people with the eyeball.
way.
Yeah. So
I am
let's
assuming
open
it's the eyeball
Open
people,
it.
not him.
Open it.
Either way, it.
Open it.
Why don't we copy everything
Not a
else
good
and then
idea.
we'll find out in the morning and we'll think about it in the morning.
Oh my gosh! Open it.
Are you sure
I'm
you're
gonna-
playing Sealgair and not Dresden?
I'm gonna
I'm just
let,
asking.
Does this character have a curse of curiosity too? And I don't.
I'm surprised with all the stuff I do. I don't have a kit for this. I feel like I should.
No, forgery is not necessarily a dungeoneering kind of
It's a thief
thing.
thing, yeah.
Oh well, yeah, because that's not necessarily what I'm talking about though. Like,
I'm just saying that's. the
I'm
case.
a spy.
Like, if
How do
you
I
had
not
a
have spy
forgery,
tools?
Oh, that's true.
if you had a forgery kit, you
You're
could
not
try
comfortable?
to do something with the seal. I would certainly allow it. Heck, you can still try. It's just a dexterity check. It's a straight up dexterity check. That's
Yeah.
all.
There you go.
Like,
Kind of
if
like
you wish to
steam
try
on
to
an
remove
envelope.
the seal in such a way that you could potentially try to put it back,
Can I do it?
It's a dexterity
No.
check.
Can I do it?
And
No.
then you could try then to, again, use another dexterity check to try to seal it back together with some heat and stuff like that. So you could do this without a forgery kit. It's
Can I
going
do
to
it?
require some rolls.
Can I do it?
You cannot.
No. Why do we need to do it?
Well, I would like to see what's in the thing.
What just happened?
Keep it away from her.
Shelgar just did a dexterity check. I will say that is a check to
Grab it.
to grab the scroll. You now have the scroll in your hand.
I'm gonna
I
Take
want,
it away from her.
Yeah.
Well, if I got a good enough dex check, would they have noticed it?
Yes, because they're literally holding.
They're looking
Andal
at
was
it.
literally holding
Not
on to
sleight of
it.
Well, give us a minute. We're
Very
debating.
carefully. We should
I'm taking it. Never mind.
fighting over it is
okay.
going to
Shelgar,
break people.
Shelgar, Morgoth tries to take it from you. Please
I
give
see
me a
this
strength
coming.
check.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Hold on. He is able to wrest it from your grasp, but because he did it by more than 5, it doesn't rip, so it is
Thank you.
unbroken.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say that I don't resist.
Oh, you know, I didn't
I
think about
don't
that.
want to break it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You could have easily said that as well. That's fine. But he got more than 5, so it's all good. Even so.
Guys,
The
really, we
scroll
need
is
to
starting to
know
look a
what's in
little bit beat up, though, as you guys keep on trying to pull it back and forth from each other.
We
I
need to
I vote
understand
that
what's
we
in
don't
there.
open it.
Yeah, I vote we don't open it.
It's not ours. As
Not our
mage as
issue.
it is at looking like a deadly weapon.
I think this contains pertinent information. We need to know what's in that scroll.
It's probably the contract for the actual sale of these records and how to do it. However, we are going in. We found that the undead live in those forests, and we found a guide. If we help him find his friends, he will guide us in. So
That's the biggest
We have
non
enough
sequitur I've
problems.
ever seen in this game.
I know we have enough problems as it is.
Opening the
Without-
scroll at this point isn't gonna make a daggone bit of difference. But it will
It
have
depends
information.
what it is. It depends what's in there.
Well, it's gonna have information we're gonna need, especially if we get into trouble,
How do you know we'll need it?
because it's sealed.
So we should never take you to a bank, essentially, because the vault is sealed. So therefore, you should.
Therefore, we need to see what's inside it, because we might need that information later on.
Obviously, we need it.
Yeah, I don't think we should open it.
I mean, we're doing a lot here. We're in enough trouble with the church potentially following you, Sealgair. We don't need to make more enemies.
We've already made them by taking the scrolls. It doesn't matter if we open it or not.
Well, no. Look at it this way: they might not know we have it yet, and if it ends up being there and the scroll isn't open, maybe they'll decide it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't work like that. If people are bad enough to kill you for something, they're not going to care if you've opened the scroll or not. They're just going to kill you. The only difference is that we're going to want to know who you told the information to.
So if it will be worse for them because we know, so that's more knowledge, so they're not going to let us go. They're going to search for us much harder.
They're not going to let us go anyway because we took those plans. We already know about the plan, the automaton thing is.
Well, knowing about it and keeping them are two separate things. If they just show up and we plant them somewhere else.
I'm telling you, by every instinct that's in my bones is telling me we open that scroll and it's not going to make a difference and that it will probably help us in the long run.
I still vote no. If we're doing it by vote.
So what y'all can do is just leave the scroll with me and leave the room, and then you can have plausible deniability. You have no idea what's in that scroll. And
we're still going to be blamed for it.
No.
In fact, we're already going to be blamed for it when we didn't even know.
So exactly. Then you just proved my point. You're already blamed for it. So what does it matter? We're giving up information we may need.
It also could be some type of signal it'll send off.
No, you've already said there's no magic. Listen to me.
I said there's no active magic.
We are giving up information we may need. Information that may save our life or help our mission. I think it's just irresponsible not to open the scroll.
Our mission started off just coming to get some herbs and went to let's defeat the undead or see what's going on with the undead, and now we're corporate
espionage,
sabotage / spying.
That's what adventure's all about.
And let it be reminded that you were actually the one who was sent here in the first place for espionage.
Let's just be clear.
So maybe you're still doing it.
Let's be clear. This is what
but
happens.
At least I'm not hiding it.
This is what happens when the cats want to see what's in the box. You knock it on the floor and it breaks open. I'm just saying.
We can do this carefully so as not to break the seal. It's not that hard.
Fine. To stop the further arguing, let someone who's very dexterous and has used these things open it. And
I will
perhaps
try
negotiate.
to open it nicely, very carefully.
Okay, who will that be?
Me?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think.
Me.
Yeah.
One who said he'll open it.
Which dex?
+3.
Okay.
What do you mean? What is it? Not see my freaking stealth rolling earlier?
You're doing great. That guy
Yeah,
was totally not
I was
saying you
gonna
at
say,
all.
but in
You
her
rolled
defense,
freaking ridiculously. That's not my
it
fault.
was a rent-a-cop who found you and
It
ran
was
you
a
down.
rent-a-cop.
So
Yeah, but he also got some pretty nice rolls, okay? Like, it's not like I suck.
All right, go
All right,
ahead.
What are you
That
gonna
was
do?
the best night. That was literally Paul Blart in every one of his movies. His one night of fame.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Here
So
we go.
you're gonna try
Go for it.
to.
Open it without breaking the seal.
Well,
Can I
you
give
have
him
to
an
break
assist?
the
It's just
seal
not-
to open it because it's the way it's set up. You're gonna try to keep the seal as much intact as possible.
Yes, that one.
You're gonna try to remove the seal.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you get out a dagger and you start trying to slowly slide it underneath the thing.
Mhm.
I would say because of the way this thing is sort of really more of a one-person job, that there is no way you can help it, Shelgar.
Okay. So standing over.
if you had a forgery kit that he could borrow, then
Yeah.
maybe.
What
but,
about an alchemist kit? Does that help?
mm,
Anything in an alchemist kit that could help?
if you were okay with it melting it off, sure. A lot of solvents and stuff like that in an alchemist kit. I would guarantee that. Not so much otherwise. So give me a dexterity check.
hang on, before you do that, let me see if there's anything I can. I don't have any extra dex or anything like that to help you. Okay, never mind. I
I
don't have
mean,
any.
you had something like Cat's Grace or something you could.
Yeah, I don't have it. I was hoping.
Well, is it going to be the 19
Oh.
or the 6?
Please be the 19. Please be the 19.
Is the
I got a
19. All right, so you guys watch as Andal slowly slides his dagger underneath the seal and slowly keeps kind of rolling around.
And he
You can see some-
pauses for a second as I lean in on his shoulder.
He
holding my-
pauses. He pauses as sweat kind of drips down his face and onto his nose, and then he kind of slides the rest of it off, and then he carefully with his other hand picks it up intact and sets it on the bed, and then Shelgar sits on it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But it seems to be all intact and clear. The scroll seems to be okay.
Well done. Now, what language is it in that
This
we
is
don't
not
know?
my first rodeo.
So you pull it open, and in common,
Oh,
the
cool.
note says,
In ancient text,
In
it sears
common,
our eyeballs and destroys our minds.
the note says, Mikhail, I hope this present finds you well. I have finally solved the distance problems, and this new version of the Widow now has a much greater range. See to it that this prototype makes it to our mutual benefactor. They should be much pleased. -S.
Ooh, that's
Okay.
anticlimactic.
Have we ever met a person named Mikhail?
Nope.
Have we heard of a person named Mikhail?
Not to my knowledge, but you can try a history or an intelligence check. Actually, an intelligence check.
Intellect.
History is fine.
And
History's
brain.
fine. History's fine. Not with
it's the
either of
same.
those rolls. No, you haven't.
And it was coming here, right? We know that it
No,
was coming to this town.
well, this is where the snapper just runs back and forth between Arken Falls and Tanelvar. That's all it does. So
Right,
if
but
it's
it probably
if it's
wasn't
meant to
going
go
back-
further down, somebody else is gonna have to pick it up.
Oh, well, that's fine. It's just not going back to the place we just
It
came
is
from.
not going back to Tanelvar, as far as you
To
know.
our,
As far as you
Yeah.
know. Dak sort of implied that once it was here, he was done with it. And that was it. And that it will probably goes further on.
Okay.
Do you wish to try to put the seal back on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
All right, give me another dexterity check as you try to heat the bottom of it a little bit without melting it too much so you can put it back on. Well, Andal is having a good night.
Hey, I can
heats it
roll.
up. He heats it up with the tinder again. He kind of heats that up and heats up the wax a little bit, sort of getting it just a little bit kind of soft, and then he presses it back on very gently and carefully right over the spot where it looked like it came from before. To the naked eye, it doesn't look like it's any different, and if you kind of pull it a little bit, you wait a few minutes as it cools, and then you kind of pull it up a bit, and it definitely seems to be sealed again. Looking it over, Andal, you think you did a pretty good job.
Hey, let's go. All right. Silva, are you done?
Have I started? No.
I mean, even if you started, you're still not done.
Yeah.
This is going to take you. It's probably going to take you all night to copy these, even at a.
Yeah, I imagine that I'm probably not going to get sleep tonight, but
Well,
will I
this
take?
is
Well,
done.
if I skip one night of sleep, does that mean I take a level of exhaustion automatically in the morning?
Yes.
Okay.
Thought
it was.
Maybe it's a Constitution check, and then it's a level. Let me see. 81. 185.
Line 5, go here. Go to line 8. Line 8, go to line 4. Spaghetti editing.
That's for forced march. Not what we're talking about here.
I thought I was gonna die.
Hang on.
It's at 185. 185. There's nothing about exhaustion on page 185 that I can see. Characters who don't eat or drink suffer the effects of exhaustion. That's where the exhaustion is for that one. All right, so it doesn't talk about it here, so let's take a look at sleep. There is nothing in here for sleep. Period. Like nothing at all. Let's look up rest. Maybe it'll be under rest. 186.
Funny, under D&D Beyond, it wasn't finding it either. I've got it actually in the basic rules. Some special abilities, environmental hazards such as starvation can cause exhaustion, give 6 levels. It doesn't really say what caused it though, other than starvation, environmental hazards, long-term effect of freezing or scorching temperatures.
Yeah.
You would think it.
I would say that
Say something.
yeah, it's just automatic. You become exhausted if you haven't had a long rest. Especially since you're doing something. Like if you were not doing something, then I would say you're fine.
What does exhaustion do again?
First one is disadvantage on ability checks.
Which could suck.
Which could suck, but it might be good for us to have these blueprints.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could hold on to them, and then I mean, I
don't think we want to hold on to them for too long. I think the faster we can get rid of them, the better.
But our guide is taking us into the woods tomorrow.
Yes,
and I
I'll
don't think
that.
staying in town is good either with them.
Yeah, so if I just pull an all-nighter and copy these down, we can get rid of the plans and do the forest tomorrow and head out the same, probably the same day.
And I might be able to mix something up to help, so.
It's just I'll have to take, in game terms, a level of exhaustion.
I'll find something. Artemis has no way of stopping this, but he's going to get a lot of caffeine. Mix a potion with a lot of caffeine.
Oh, here we go. Here's the answer for you. Long rest says at least 8 hours. Presumably though, my minutes. All right. Okay, there's no rules to enforce sleep, but penalizing it. Oh, in the description of Constitution on Player's Handbook, page 177, it says that the DM may request a character to roll a Constitution save if it tries to go without sleep. So there you go. If you spend all night on it, you will need to do a Constitution save. And if you make it, you will not be exhausted, but it will become more difficult every day that you stay awake.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna spend the night and copy it. I'll do the check in the morning.
All right.
Yeah, I think it'll be worth it to have these.
Oh,
Right.
definitely.
Right.
I'll say I'm gonna take these into my room and start copying. I'll get them back to you in the morning. And you can put them back where you found it. I don't know. I don't really care about that. And I'll head out and start copying.
Okay, you will be copying. Oh, actually, it says here. So it'll be a DC 15 saving. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Can I make a potion to give him advantage, basically helping him on the roll?
I think the answer is going to be no to that one.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Excuse me. Okay, so you guys go to sleep. It becomes the next day, except for Silva.
Mhm.
It becomes the next day. And Silva, I need you to make 2 rolls for me. One will be a Arcana check,
Sure.
which will be your ability to copy the schematic.
Did not do.
13 is enough, so you're
Okay.
able to copy the schematics. Now I need you to give me a Constitution saving throw.
Cool. I didn't even realize that I was proficient in this one. Ah, of course, I
Unfortunately,
get the bad roll.
you take a level of exhaustion.
Okay, so every time I make an ability check, I have disadvantage, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Exhaustion. Where are you? It says 291. Exhaustion. First level. Disadvantage on ability checks.
All right,
There we go.
here we go. I can put level of exhaustion on my character sheet.
All right. It is now the morning of Falling Tide, 5th of Falling Tide. As you come downstairs, or as you start to get up, Andal, there's a knock on your door. Morgoth, you hear the knock as well because it's on your door.
I got it.
Opening it up, you see Silva with some bags under her eyes, kind of hand you over the piece of parchment, the schematics.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
what
Well-
are you guys doing next?
Did we have a time that we were supposed to meet the person that's taking us?
When the
into
We're
cock
gonna
crows.
throw-
Well, let's get going before the
Yeah,
cock.
Going to moving. Gotta be on the docks anyway. I'm gonna put it into the warehouse somewhere.
Okay. You guys, grab a couple things. Or you actually don't grab anything because it's not like there's a continental breakfast here. You guys get your stuff together.
I was gonna say one thing before we did go. The dude, because we're going down to the docks, right? Again?
Yes.
The dude, if the guy who was at the warehouse last night sees Sealgair, he might be suspicious, and we don't have time for that. So, I was gonna try to disguise her until we get into the forest.
Well, you're going down to the docks, but the opposite direction from the thing. You're going to the outside
Never mind, no
The-
longer a problem.
the Thirsty Winch. So,
No longer a problem.
just as a reminder. So you guys head
I am
out.
gonna try to get over to the warehouse.
All right,
though.
and you head down the hill, reaching sort of the docks street. Andal, you head towards you break off from them and head towards the warehouse. The rest of you head on over towards the Thirsty Winch, unless you want to go with Andal. I don't want to speak for you.
No, they got themselves into this. They got themselves into this. Plus, the big crowd is probably.
He's the sneaky one, not me.
Yeah, I'm not a stealth guy.
All right, so we're gonna do Andal first, then I'll come back to you guys. Andal, you start heading down the docks. It doesn't take you long to get near to where the warehouse is, and as you get up there, you can see that there are several guards kind of doing around the thing. You can see that the warehouse, the big door is open. You can see that there's two guys kind of looking over the crate. They're kind of dusting it with something. What do you want to do?
How careful was I yesterday when I was opening this?
I mean, you cranked it open. I don't know how careful you were. I mean, you were as careful as you might be, as you would normally be.
Is fingerprinting a thing?
Not that you've heard of.
All right. Okay.
What do you want to do?
Am I in
definitely a
like,
decent number of people around, so.
Well, am I in sight range of the guards at this point? Like they know I'm in the area?
You can see them. I mean, you can duck into a sort of a side spot before they potentially start looking at you. They're more focused.
Yeah, I want to go. I want to go down
on the warehouse.
Alley. Yeah, I want to go down an alley real quick.
All right. There's sort of some spots between some buildings you can get through. Sure.
Okay.
And you can close the gap, but you're not sure how close you can truly get there without being seen. I mean, you can try, but stealth rolls be stealth rolls, you know.
I don't want to do this.
Could he climb on like an adjacent roof and throw it through the window or something like that?
Because you know, a leather map case suddenly going on the floor is not going to cause anybody to notice it.
Well, no, they'll be distracted by the thunk, and then he can run away.
Also assumes that the windows are open, but.
Well, I broke that one, remember?
One small corner of it, not big enough really for the thing to get through.
Yeah. What type of windows does this building have?
Mostly sort of the same, the typical kind of frosted glass kind of thing.
How do they open? Or do they even open?
You're not sure that they open.
And then, so the guards are all like, are they around the whole warehouse or just over by the door?
You saw them kind of looking in the doors. That doesn't mean that there aren't others. That's just the ones you saw before you kind of ducked into the side. I mean, you can try to get closer to take some time to figure out if there's more stuff, but that would require getting a little bit closer and or getting out so you can see the place.
But the ones I saw were all over by the big opening at the front that was closed yesterday.
Correct. It is open now. It was very clearly open. And like I said, you can see people inside.
The side door. There are other doors that I know of. The side door and the front door.
Yep.
Okay. I want to try to look at the side door.
All right. So, you going to try to stealth there, or are you just going to walk up there?
I'm going to stealth to them.
Okay. Give me a stealth roll. Okay. So you kind of start going from, building to building as you get a little bit closer. As you kind of come, you're maybe 2 buildings away, and you notice that there is definitely some a pair of guards that kind of come walking around the back side of it and start heading down that small alleyway with the side door in it. They don't seem to notice you, but
okay, I want to wait and time them.
Okay.
Or just time how long.
We'll come back to you then. The rest of you guys, you make it to the Thirsty Winch. And outside there is Rasputin, a big tall guy. He's easily 6.5 feet. You can see his skin is slightly grayish. He's got a rather large reddish beard. It's more like, think of red with the saturation turned down. So it's not like he's graying, but his beard is grayer than red. So it's like a red, grayish red. But it's not like he's got silver in it or anything like that. It's just the color is muted. He has some piercing blue eyes. And you didn't really notice it as much last night, but you can see now as he kind of stands up, and you can see that his arms are like, as big around almost as Silva's like legs are. I mean, he's definitely built pretty strongly. He's got an axe that he kind of flips up onto his shoulder. And he's like, "All right, you ready to go?"
We have another person coming, and then we can go. He should be here momentarily. She should be here momentarily.
Andal.
Okay, sorry. That's right, it wasn't Brian's here.
All right, I guess I'll sit back down then and finish this ale. And he sits down and drinks some more. Back to you, Andal. About 15 minutes later, a different pair of guards comes by, doing the same thing.
Okay. And they go past and go around?
They continue. Basically, it looks like there's at least 2 sets of guards making a circuit around the building.
It takes them 30 minutes to get around the building?
Well, maybe they're not going very quickly.
Okay.
Or maybe they changed guards, and it's only 1 set. You're not sure which.
Okay, I don't want to delay any further, so I'm going to stealth to the door and then try to open it again.
Okay.
I'm going to assume that the trap is there and try to.
Okay, give me a stealth roll up to get up to the door.
I'm going to assume it's trapped again. Where's the thing? There it is.
You come around the thing, kind of look. You can see that the pair of guards is just turning around the edge, going around front. And then you start running towards the thing when you trip over a small can and make a little bit of noise. You don't think anybody heard it? You're not sure. You stop for a minute, and nobody from the front seems to come back around. So you're okay for now.
Okay.
Getting to the door, what do you do?
Locked?
You gently try the handle. It seems to be locked.
New plan.
Okay.
I'm going to. We should have cleaned off that stuff before we put it in. It'll probably be fine. Okay. I'm going to wipe with. What do I have? Do I have like a cloth of some kind I can use?
I guess.
I'm going to just lightly like wipe down the case.
Okay.
Real quickly, like not trying to get it like
okay.
Vigorously, but like wipe it off a little bit.
You really have no idea about fingerprints at this point, by the way, just as an FYI.
Well, they were dusting something, right? Wasn't
Maybe
that what I saw?
They were trying to do something with magically or something like that. You're not sure. You don't know what.
Well,
they were doing.
if
you, Andrew, may think they're dusting for prints, but that you,
what does Andal think they're probably doing?
Probably have something that they're going to try to do to recreate the crime scene or something like that magically, so that they can try to get more information. Probably. But I mean, this is a smaller village, so who knows what this is.
All right. Well, my plan is I'm just going to leave the tube at the door and leave.
All right. So you drop the tube there.
Yeah, I'm just going to put it there and leave.
All right. You get all the way to the edge and are about to go turn around the thing when you hear a shout from the door of a, "Hey, you, stop!" And somebody starts chasing after you.
Okay.
So,
Oh no.
what are you doing? How you?
It's time to zoom. We got places to be.
All right. So you're gonna run.
Yes.
Are you gonna? All right. How are you running? Are you trying to? I mean, you're just gonna run straight because this guy's not gonna take him very long to get to the corner and see you.
No, I'm gonna duck down one of the first alleyway that comes up.
Okay. So you run to there, duck down the alley. You hear a guy coming to around the side. You hear him stop as you continue going down the alley. And then he seems to sort of run. You don't really hear him as much. And then you hear the shout from down the alley. He's like, "Stop! Stop! Stop!" And then he start running after you.
So he's now down the same alley I'm in?
Yes. Yeah.
Do I
It's not take that long to get to the various things.
I know. Did I when we walked by what's her name when they were going to the tavern yesterday when we didn't stay with them? Wasn't she talking about there was some sort of market somewhere?
Yeah, there's a fish market, but it's down the docks a bit.
Mm-hmm. Where did she mention any sort of like place where a large gathering of people will be?
Fish market.
Fish market it is.
I mean, you come out of the alleyway on the docks, and there are people on the docks. I mean, the fishermen have already started to go out for the morning. There's already the beginnings of some of the sailors and stuff kind of coming out to get onto their river barges to go downriver or up the lake. I mean, there are people around. It's not like it's completely desolate.
Okay.
But I mean, this guy's clearly seen you at this point.
Yeah. Has he seen my face or just my clothing?
He's seen. You're not sure. I mean, you want to go back there and ask him?
No, I don't. I do not want to do that. Thank you.
Well, then it's a silly question to ask me because you're not sure.
What do I have? I can do.
We're now at officially 2.5 hours on something that I just threw in.
Well, I thought it was gonna be pertinent.
Oh,
That was a big box.
it might still be pertinent, but
It was a big box. Why wouldn't I be curious?
Oh, are you a thief?
Be right back.
What class are you, Andy?
Huh?
He's a rogue.
Are you a thief? Are you a rogue?
I'm a rogue.
You know you get bonus action like.
Yeah, no, he's running faster, but the problem is that it doesn't take that long to get to the alleyway that he went down. Like if he had went a couple more down and then ran down the alley, it would have definitely made a difference. He is definitely outrunning the guy. Don't get me wrong. He's clearly
got to find a place.
He's just got to find the right. It's just it's a matter of finding a spot where you can make sure that you get hidden without being seen before.
Okay. What besides people? What do I see down the dock?
More buildings, people. There's occasional streets heading up the hill.
I want to duck between. How far behind him? How far behind me is he?
I mean, you basically can run about a third faster than he can, thereabouts. So he's slowly falling behind. So for every 60 feet he runs, you run 90 feet.
I'm gonna run up to. How far is the next street?
To the next full-on street is about, we'll say 100 feet, maybe 60 feet, something like that.
Okay.
It would be less than a round for you. Less than 6 seconds.
Okay. Is there an alley like just past it?
Sure.
We'll go there.
All right. So you run, dart down the alley. What do you do next?
What's in it?
It's an alley. It's got refuse and few boxes and stuff around there.
Okay.
Remember, this isn't a very large town. Like it's 500-600 people, so it's not huge. So alleys here, like an alley here on the docks, is more like, oh, here's where a bunch of people threw up, or here's a rain barrel where we get some rain coming off the things, or here's a pile of some broken crates and stuff that we no longer want to use. It's going to be that kind of refuse. That being said, I'm going to give it a 1 in 6 chance of there being like a wagon in this one. Okay, there's a wagon in this one too, like a cart in this alleyway.
What's in the wagon?
It's got some tarps in it.
All right. Well, does it? It's just unattended, or
Yeah,
does a
it's
person
nothing
live
there. It's just somebody just left the cart there. Maybe they're going to do something with it later.
All right, I'm gonna duck into the tarps without like trying my best not to make the wagon like tip over or something.
All right, give me a stealth check. All right. So you hear feet go by going quickly. And then a few seconds, about maybe 10 seconds later, you hear several set of feet go by. And then nothing for like 30 seconds. And then a minute, still nothing.
Okay. So I have a change of clothes.
Okay.
That is something that's in my bag. I always
No,
have
I know.
that.
I know.
So I'm going to change clothes,
Okay.
and I'm going to use the parts of my disguise kit to make my face look different.
Okay. Give me a dexterity check. Or no. Yeah, dexterity check and add your proficiency. All right, so you
20.
kind of do some stuff with your face, with your disguise kit, and then what?
Then I'm gonna try to peek carefully out of the tarps that I'm in, see if there's like someone's just looking down the alley.
Yeah, there's like 5 guys, big tough guys. They're all looking, staring right at you. No,
Okay.
There's no one in the alley that you can see.
Then I will get out,
Okay.
dust myself off a little bit,
All right.
and then just walk out of the alley and go towards the direction they were running anyway, because I think I have to go that way
you're
regardless.
just about to walk out the alley when 2 guards go running by in front of you, like right in front of you, and so you come up to a stop, and they kind of briefly look at you, like out of the way, business, and they continue running.
Okay, I have to go that way anyway, right? The way that they're running.
That's the direction you're going.
All right, I'm not gonna walk. I'm just gonna walk, normally.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk like I'm late for something, but
Okay.
not that I'm trying to run away, because I am late.
All right. So you continue walking, and you reach the point where you turned off to go towards the warehouse, and the rest of them went towards the inn or the tavern, and like 6 guards are all kind of standing
Milling
there,
about or
kind of
something.
looking around. Some of them are looking up the hill, some of them are looking further down the alleyway or the docks. A couple are looking out towards the boats that seem to be getting ready to kind of launch. And you hear one of the guys say, you and you up the street, see if you went down one of those other ones. You and you to the boats, don't let them leave yet. Maybe he's stuffed himself on one of those. You two, head back and report. I'm gonna head down this way and see if we can catch him down that way. And they kind of all break apart and start running in different directions.
Cool.
And you keep walking.
Yep.
So you guys, the rest of you kind of sit there for a while. It takes about 10 minutes. When a guy just steps up right next to you guys and he just stands there for a bit before he says, all right, we're ready to go? And Andal's voice. None of you guys have a
hello there.
passive
Just
perception.
shake my head. Let's go.
His dexterity. That would be his disguise. He's wearing different clothes. He's got like what looks to be like a wart on the side of his left side of his nose. And he's got some smudges, like he's dirty and things like in his face. He's also slightly lightened his hair a little bit.
Yeah, let's go. Let's not.
Rasputin stands up and he's like, We're ready then? Sounds like a good plan. We need to head down and take the bridge across. And he starts heading down the docks towards the eastern side of the city. It takes you guys the better part of it takes you guys about 30-40 minutes to get down there over the bridge and start getting into the edge of the woods. Rasputin kind of talks a little bit. It's more small talk, but small talk that is just kind of dumb. Like he's just like, good morning we're having here. Nice and cold. I'm waiting for the snow to show up here in the next week or two. Certainly smells like it. And it is a rather cold morning this morning. You guys are in, fall tide, which is which would be considered the equivalent of October from here. And you guys are kind of in a more you're not really you're sort of dead center in what would be considered kind of like, think of this area as sort of like central to slightly west central Colorado. So this morning when you kind of got down here, there was definitely a little bit of frost on the ground in various places. But the lake itself has not got any ice or anything on it currently. But Morgoth, having lived here for quite a while, that you might be, well, I would say that you think that it's odd. Normally by now you would have had a snow, and you haven't had one yet. Hasn't actually snowed yet, but it's definitely gotten colder.
That's weird.
Global warming.
There's no global warming. It's a fantasy world.
I know, fireballs all over the place. Make everything burn.
Anyway, so he kind of talks about the weather a little bit. I kind
of ask him, where you're from and that type of.
You ask that sort of stuff. He says, "Well, right around here. This is where you found me. This is where I'm from."
Excellent. I just
Pardon?
Seems like a good place to be home. I didn't know if you traveled elsewhere. I'm always looking for stories about other parts of the world type thing. So
I do not travel. Travel is for the weaker people. Like my brother. But that is not here nor there. Enough about me. Where are you from?
Just give him some small talk where the town we're from.
Okay. You guys are sort of having this sort of chat when you start to get into the edge of the forest. Like you've been walking for maybe 30 minutes away from the lake, because once you get across, you kind of went through a small set of buildings. One of which actually did have like a sign of an apothecary on it. But he just continues walking and starts heading through. He's like, "This is normally the way I go to the forest to do my chop. Please, we must hurry. We don't need to hurry, but if we wish to potentially not get caught out there during the night, we should get to move on." So he starts walking westerly. Like, you follow a track out for a bit, and then basically that turns into a path that pretty much, it looks like clearly it's a path that a lot of people use at some point. And there are a few paths that come off, and you walk by a few. The forest starts. The trees start to pick up a bit. You walk by a few cabins, for lack of a better term, and he's like, that was where one of my friends used to live, and over there that is one of the furriers. As you're kind of walking through, he has been unable to check some of his traps because of what has been going on.
So were your friends taken in the day or night, or?
No, they went in. They just did not come back out.
So they went in the day and just never came out.
Correct. This is true. This is the true statement. This is what happened. They went in. They did not come back out. 2 days later, I went in to try to find them and was accosted by these transparent spirit things of horses with headless men and strange skeletal people and things of this nature.
Were the headless men just bodies of headless men?
I don't know. They seem to be spirits.
Ah, okay. So you didn't try to strike them.
No, that is what I did try to strike. Like I told you,
so
I was swinging at them, and they did not. Went right through them.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't think conventional weapons are going to work here. Dressing the group. So if you have any magical type weapons, or that would probably be better. But definitely don't shoot first. Let's see. Maybe we can reason with the spirits or something to disturb them. He says being an alchemist and not a cleric, so he really doesn't know. Just going on what he's heard.
So you guys walk for maybe the next 45, half an hour, 45 minutes. The forest starts to get a little bit thicker. Then about that point is when Rasputin stops and he says, all right, this is about as far as I normally can make it in to chop my wood without things happening. And you've noticed that as you've kind of come in, that a lot of the underbrush, there's not very much of it. So if he's been still chopping wood for the last couple of weeks, and there's other people that have been doing it, they've been mostly doing the undergrowth and the fallen stuff. Not necessarily cutting down actual trees yet, although you have seen a few stumps from some trees. So clearly somebody's starting to pull down trees from this area. Now we can start to get closer to where the spirits are.
Okay.
Be careful.
Let's wait here. I'm going to start to summon a creature that will help us be able to scout. And everyone else, I'm going to try to summon a familiar.
Okay.
It'll take an hour.
Oh, Jesus.
So, I know.
You couldn't have done that.
Well, I didn't realize we were like, huh?
Couldn't have done that last night?
Well, I didn't think, I mean,
No, it's
I
fine.
want like an hour or something. I don't know what the hell you're going to get in town as a creature. If we don't want to take the time, I'm okay with not.
No, you do what you want
No,
to do.
I'm talking to the rest of the group. I don't know. I mean, do they need to get ready or short rest or anything? We haven't really used anything, but.
I mean, I'm always fine with resting right now. It's been a long night.
Let's do
But
that.
if we want to just charge ahead, I'm also fine with that. Either way, I don't have anything extra that I need to do.
Well, let's do that then, and I'll start my summoning. It's a ritual. It takes an hour. And I'm going to try to summon some type of bird, preferably an owl, but if I get like a squirrel, that's fine too. He's never actually done it, so he's using like different potions to try to lure something out. And once the animal gets there, he's gonna, let it drink a couple things so it'll bond with him.
So, John, I don't think you understand what Find Familiar does. Find Familiar doesn't bring an actual creature to you that you bind. Find Familiar conjures a spirit that takes the form of a creature.
Oh, okay. Well, even better.
So you can do it you can kind of do it whenever you want, and it
so I couldn't. No, I didn't know.
It becomes whatever you want. So if you want to have an owl, then it's a spirit that appears next to you that turns into an owl. That's
okay. Let's do that then.
So that's the way it works. I would suggest that as an alchemist, what you do is you basically take out some clay and you form it into some creature that is similar to what you're looking for.
Similar to an owl.
And it over the course of an hour, and then it turns into that creature.
That's what I'm.
So what kind of creature do you wish to have?
I want to get an owl.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so you have, after about an hour, you guys have watched him slowly put together this thing and pour some different oils and liquids over top of it, and suddenly it grows feathers, and the wings flap out. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And it kind of takes to the air. And there's now an owl that kind of swoops around for a little bit before landing next to Artemis.
Excellent. Okay, we're ready.
Okay. Rasputin has been like, maybe you guys can steal. Maybe you guys can deal with these spirits. That you can create them yourselves. Very strange. You're strange people.
The creature.
Oh well.
The spirit was already here, but
we will do what we can. And he starts going deeper into the forest. You guys follow, I assume?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So
Like I said, I want the owl kind of flying around as it can. If it's a
so you guys start. He goes a bit slower now because he seems to be a little bit trepidatious and kind of looking around. You know, the owl hoots once and he kind of starts and looks in that direction, and then but he keeps going. The forest noises stay about the same though, like the typical bugs and birds. They don't really seem to change at all during as you guys start to move forward. And for the next 30 minutes, you move, maybe a third of what you did in the last 45, just because you're going slowly. But the canopy, the forest gets a little bit thicker, not much. It seems like this is maybe as thick as the forest gets. The trees here are semi-old growth, so a lot of there's definitely several oaks, a few maples where an oak is trashed in. You can see sort of the maple kind of trees up, but most of the trees are maybe 15 to 30 feet apart, so not super close together. Underbrush is not too thick in places, again, unless a tree has fallen, then there's a bunch of underbrush there. You guys cross over a small creek that's clearly headed towards the lake. And in general, it's not a terribly forbidding or foreboding forest. It's actually reasonably decent forest, like the kind you would, as would potentially play in as a kid, kind of thing, in medieval times. But nothing so far. Everybody kind of give me an investigation check.
crap.
I should have also probably said investigation or nature check, to be quite honest.
Or nature?
Or nature, yeah.
Can I re-roll mine?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, actually,
If it's the same,
it's still a plus
I
0.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Does the owl give me advantage?
Only if it says that an owl gets advantage on perception checks.
I don't think it does.
I don't think it does either. Okay. Andal, you notice a plant with some thick leaves and a light pink flower growing on the side of sort of the bank of this creek as you guys are passing it over. Something about that flower, that plant, kind of tickles your brain a little bit. Like you've heard, it's something that you've been told about.
Didn't I ask the dude bro that wanted some herbs from here to write me down like a description of plants?
Yeah.
I would have.
And he did give you some descriptions of plants.
This
But,
plant looks
if it needs
weird.
help.
This plant looks weird. It doesn't look weird. It just looks like what it looks like. Just rings a bell. Like you've heard of this before, but you don't know what it is.
Hey guys, I what is this? Does anyone know what this is?
So he kind of points that out, and
Look at it.
Artemis, you immediately recognize it as bitterroot, amarga, the stuff you're actually looking for. Or you're supposed to be here for.
Well done.
Oh, nice, we can leave, yeah?
I mean, you need to get the root from it, so you're gonna have to dig this out, and it's only gonna be one root. You probably want more than just one root of it. But it is the beginnings of it.
Does it tend to grow in together, or is it just spotty?
Well, you're only seeing one here, but as you kind of look around now, you can see that there's along this creek there are definitely some spots where there's several plants of it. I mean, you could probably get, a decent amount is not the right word. You could probably get maybe, 10, 15 roots from what you can see here currently.
So this is what we're here for. So you,
I mean, that's not all that the one guy asked you for, but this is here.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
This is what Kalani wants for sure.
This is some of it. This is some of what. So are they normally here, Rasputin, or the ghosts and spirits? Is he?
This is
do we
around.
sense anything?
This is approximately where they start. Usually it's past the creek. We have to get a little bit further. But sometimes they have been here. Sometimes they have been before here. This, I'm not sure why they have not shown up yet. It's a bit scary. It's a bit scary.
Well, let me collect these. How long will it take me to collect it?
You're gonna have to dig out these, so it'll probably take you maybe 20 minutes to get 15 of them.
Okay.
I mean, they're not like it's not super deep the roots, but you know you got to kind of dig under and then you got to pull it up, and you're trying to be a little bit careful of it because you don't want to break open the root, because typically the way you want to use it is either you dry the root or you press it to try to get the some of the juice out and that sort of stuff. So it's that kind of thing.
Well, while we have the luck, let's go ahead and get this. And
but I mean, if more than one of you do it, it can take less time. Like,
okay.
I mean, you're trying to do this.
Suppose.
If all of you start doing it, then it's going to take about 10-15 minutes to get them.
Well, someone keep an eye on, Scout and make sure.
I mean, Rasputin is looking around. He's like, "You do your thing. I will.
Good.
I will watch."
Okay. Dig it up.
All right. So you start digging it up. About 10 minutes in, you hear, look over there. And you see Rasputin pointing in a direction deeper into the forest. And you see, slightly transparent, pale white, kind of what looks to be like an armored knight, but he has no head. He's got a sword kind of held up and pointed in your guys' direction, and that's what you see. It doesn't seem to start moving towards you, but that's what it looks like, and you can see through it. So definitely a spirit or an apparition of some sort.
Do I recognize the armor or any of the symbols? So does anyone else from history?
You can give me a history check.
Yep.
Does my blood hunter give me some sort of thing against those ghosts and stuff?
Yeah, I can't roll.
You don't recognize any of the symbols on it. Sort of looking for the.
Oh, nice roll.
The tabard and stuff like that. Sealgair. The heraldry on this is not any you've seen before, and you're pretty sure you know most of the heraldry of at least the Seerly, if not also the diary stuff from what's been drilled into you over the course of the last few years. And this doesn't look like any of those. In fact, if you had to guess, you would say more than not that heraldry is Fey in origin.
Ah,
Crap.
okay. That's a Fey. All right.
Well, the heraldry on it's clearly the size of a human, but the heraldry looks more Fey than it does like some Seerly or diary heraldry.
So maybe the Fae have brought these people back somehow, or
They cursed him to guard.
We've stumbled on something they've moved into.
As you guys watch, the sword kind of flicks like "come at me, bro" kind of look, like flick, and then it kind of backs back into the depths of the forest and fades away.
Let's finish getting the roots quickly. We'll go on.
All right, so you finish getting the rest of the roots. Rasputin the whole time is kind of like looking all directions, like they never just leave. Watch your backs. And just as you kind of step up from that, you see on the way you came from 3 of these same things, but one of them is actually on horseback.
Okay.
And they're just standing there. Like the 2 are standing on the ground, one is sitting in the saddle, just kind of standing there. And if they had heads, they might just be watching you, but you're not sure.
So, give a half bow. I mean, give a bow to them.
All right, you give a bow to them.
and kind of.
After you raise back up, the one on horseback brings out its sword and raises its hand up,
Yes.
and then drops his arm. And the horse starts galloping towards you, and the two others start running towards you guys. What are you guys doing?
Battle stance.
Making no sound whatsoever.
I'm getting battle ready. Just so you know.
Yeah.
All right, roll initiative. Let me add you to an encounter.
Okay.
We'll activate this.
Well, I thought they wanted to follow them, but I guess not. The first one may have. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not ready yet.
Oops. Yeah, I'm trying to.
That's okay.
What just happened? Why are people moving themselves?
Where? What? Where?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. Now you should have that.
Oh, let's go.
I never expected Rasputin to come with you guys today, so we will just add somebody in for that today. Jan, for today, Jan the Trapper will be our Rasputin. I just.
I'm sure he's.
John, you're finally back.
Well, we can rename him in the combat tracker to be Rasputin. Yep, very displayed name. See? There we go. All right. Rasputin rolls his. Artemis and Sealgair, roll your initiative if you would.
Okay. It was on a 17.
All right. Let us begin combat here. And Morgoth, you will be first. These
Alright.
3 things. So they're kind of coming from this direction over here. Oh, come on. Hitting Alt. They're coming this way. Let me put in something for you to see. It's not going to be perfect, but I do have. Oh, I don't know. I think these are going to be.
And a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it has no head. Never mind.
There we go. We'll throw in a couple of these things here. Technically, these are isometric, but it's fine.
Oh, that looks cool. I like that.
So these things right here are rushing your direction. And they're all going to be on a 9 because that's what I want them to be. I didn't want them all to be separate.
I shall take a defensive action.
All right, so they are coming towards you. One is on horseback, the other 2 are not. You decide to take a defensive action. Anything else?
No.
All right, Silva, what are you doing?
I would also probably like to take defensive action. Can I move? Is this a spot that I can move to?
What is this?
Where I move to now? Like it's
Yeah.
just because it's
Yeah.
covered with trees and stuff.
No,
Okay,
so
cool.
here, watch this. I'm going to move you. Watch what happens. Look how you're covered over by the tree slightly.
Ah,
The new version of Foundry has both a bottom layer and a top layer. And so I can make slightly transparent top layers for the canopies. So
okay.
you will see that you will be slightly, like if you, yes, you can go anywhere on this map. There's nothing, like the tree trunks are not super thick, so it's fine. You can be in any of these spots. But as you go underneath the trees, you will see yourself get slowly, partially covered.
I'm gonna move to there.
Okay. And note the creek and stuff like that is kind of it's kind of running through here off screen kind of thing. So I mean you're slightly in this glade and stuff like that. All right.
And I will. I guess I'll hold an action or ready an action
Okay.
to if one of the ghosts makes a hostile action against us.
All right.
I'll shoot it with a
Alright.
firebolt.
Okay. Rasputin, i.e. the trapper, goes "Rah!" and starts running towards them.
Hold us. Don't go towards them.
1, 2,
Let them come to us.
4,
Just to the
5,
berserker.
6. And he starts running. He gets to there, and that's as far as he goes. And he readies an action, which is to strike at the thing as it comes by. Artis.
Wow, that totally screws up my plan. That grease spell is not going to help nearly as much.
Well, it might. You're surely going to get Rasputin.
I know. I will cast bonus action Shillelagh.
Okay.
I've got my shield. I'm going to move forward. Let's see. 3, and I'll be at same level as Morgoth, but diagonally away from him, upper right 3 hectares. I can do that, can't I? Sorry. I keep forgetting I can actually do this. It's a different game I couldn't. Okay. My apologies.
No, you're fine.
All right, so that's what I'm going to do. And then, he really screwed me on that.
He's his
I
own
don't know what he
man.
does. I'm going to go ahead and cast it anyway. And
You're going to put grease somewhere?
yeah, I'm going to put grease somewhere. Are they floating, or they actually seem to be walking around?
It's from the way it looks like they're walking through the grass, although the one is a horse, so it's riding through the grass. It's kind of what it looks like.
This may not help, but we'll see. So I cast it now. Oh, cool. That's excellent. Yeah. I guess there. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. I don't think we had that before, did we?
Yeah, we have.
I thought we had to actually shape it. All right.
Oh, you're good.
My turn.
All right.
So I throw a potion down there. Or I
Yep.
take my.
All right.
Yeah.
So the grease is right there. All right.
Don't step to the left.
All right. So this ghost, headless ghost, is the one riding with the horse. It seems to go right over top of it without it affecting it at all.
I figured.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As it gets to there, it tries to swipe at you, Artemis, with a swing.
Okay. I have a 17 armor class right now because of my shield.
Okay. And just use this. And it misses.
Excellent.
The weapon seems to go right above you, kind of duck down, and it goes right over the top of your head as it kind of starts going past. This one, and then it continues because it's on the horse, so it does 2 more. So if you'd like to swing at it, you can, and then your firebolt can go off as well.
Yeah,
I'll swing at it.
Okay. So let's see here. Do Artemis first, and then Silva. Artemis, you swing, and you're pretty sure it goes right through it.
It's a magical weapon.
It seems to have no effect whatsoever.
Okay. So,
do your firebolt.
Yep.
Your firebolt, you throw it past through it, and it goes right through the horse and out the other side, and eventually hits the grass on the ground, and there's a little bit of a small smoldering fire there that quickly goes out.
Huh.
So now this one is moving. 1, 2, 3,
illusionary?
4, 5, and then swings at Rasputin here.
I don't suppose the grease helps against him either.
Nope, didn't seem to do anything. Hopefully did not hit that twice. And misses Rasputin, because that just sucks. And then the next one, 1, 2, 3, does the same thing, attacks Rasputin. That one hits Rasputin, and Rasputin goes, ah! And he does take some damage. Let's see here. But that's it. Actually, he then actually also gets an attack. Because remember, I said he readied an action. So he attacks with his technically axe, but it's going to be a longsword. And again, it goes right through the one he attacks. Sealgair, you're up.
So, if I'm remembering right, I have to, when I use my blood curses, because these people technically don't have blood, I have to amplify in order for it to be effective against creatures that don't have blood. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so I want to activate my powers in amplified states.
Okay.
Is that 2 hematocrit dice that I roll?
I believe it is. It's on the class here. Crimson Right. Invoke the right of the Hemocraft as a bonus action. You activate Crimson Right in a single weapon, and that lets you use a number of hit points equal to 1 roll of your Hemocraft die. I think that's only ever 1 roll, but
Right, but when you amplify your blood curse,
it's
blood curse of the marked.
just before it affects target. Choose to amplify the curse by losing a number of hit points equal to 1 roll of your Hemocraft. No, it's when invoking a blood curse before it affects the target. You can choose to amplify the curse by losing a number of hit points equal to 1 roll of your Hemocraft die.
Right, so it'd be 2 rolls. Yep.
No. I mean,
Oh?
no. It's just if you're doing
Okay.
blood, you're doing blood maledict. So you're
Yeah.
activating a curse, which
Yep.
doesn't cost any Hemocraft die.
Okay.
But you then, but to amplify it, you do roll the Hemocraft die. So you're just amplifying it.
Okay.
So,
All right, then I'll do blood curse of the marked.
Okay. And you're amplifying it, so the next attack roll you make against the target before the end of your turn has advantage. You also need to roll your Hemocraft die and take that many hit points of damage.
Yep, I
And
forgot you're a bloodsucker.
actually, that has nothing to do
It
with
has
being
nothing to do with being this particular class, no, but
You know what I
Okay.
mean. I still forgot about it.
And my let's see, where the heck is a D4?
Here. You
Ah.
take
I lost my paper.
you take 1 point. Jan tells you take 1 point.
1 point. Okay, thank you. I had a couple screens open here.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's all good.
Yeah.
Just rolling it so we can.
29,
Keep
and I'm
moving.
gonna attack.
All right. You're firing an arrow, I assume.
Yeah. my
Which
short
one?
bow.
This one, or this one?
Uh,
Which one are you attacking?
where the heck am I? I can't read the labels.
You're right here.
There I am. Okay, so I'm gonna go with this guy.
Okay, that's fine.
Right here.
All right. So you have advantage on the attack.
Do 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 do. Crossbow, crossbow. Short bow, short bow.
And your arrow or your crossbow your arrow goes straight through it, slams up against the tree, and boom, goes right through it. Seems to have no effect.
And the extra hematocrit die is double,
Okay.
and it's also magic.
Okay.
So that's 2d4.
You hear it go. Seems to not do anything to it.
Even though it's magic?
Yep.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope. Are these guys spellcasters?
Not that you know of. They haven't
Well,
cast a
it's-
spell.
I have the ability to sense a creature that can cast spells, and I get certain powers against it.
Let me check real quick. Hold on.
It's the Order of the
Yep.
Inquisition.
No. I know. I just need to make sure of
Okay.
what it says exactly.
It's the witch hunt.
Where the heck is that? It's a feature, right?
In the Order of the Inquisition, I've got Awakened Blood.
For some reason, I'm not
And
seeing Order
Witch
of the
Hunt.
Inquisition in your character sheet.
I got it at 3rd level.
No, I know you have it.
Yeah, I don't think it was in there that I was able to add it. That's why.
I know you have it. I'm just not seeing it.
Because I get to cast Detect Magic and Detect Evil and Good at will.
Have it in one moment.
All right.
Okay. You learn to detect train another. You can use without expending a spell slot. So you can. Oh, you train. You deal damage. When you deal damage with your Christian rate to a creature who can cast spells, you can roll the Hemocraft die an additional time and add it to the damage. So you can cast Detect Evil and Good and Detect Magic spells at will.
Right.
But that still costs a slot, or it still costs an action. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
So you don't just get to automatically detect somebody who can cast magic. No.
Okay. Gotcha.
You can.
If
they do cast magic, you can roll the Hemocraft die an additional time.
I thought there was something in there that said I could sense them.
When you use this order, you can cast it without spending, or is your spellcasting ability for that. Others as well. You can spend use for blood round to get a cast scene. No, nothing in here.
Okay.
It's just that when you deal damage with your right, you can roll additional thing on its spellcaster.
Alrighty.
Right.
Anyway.
No, that's all good.
All right. And nothing I did was...
Deep seem to do any damage.
Oh, okay.
All right, Andal, you're
up. Everyone seems to be having a lot of trouble.
You've seen stuff go directly through multiple the one with the on the horse multiple times, like without affecting it, without it seeming to affect it.
Are they attacking us?
Yeah, one swung at Artemis, and then the other two swung at Rasputin.
Did it show blood on Rasputin, or what did the?
No, it looked like a cold, like his arm kind of withers a little bit where it strikes him.
So it actually does damage. It's not just like an illusionary damage.
It looks like it's doing damage, yes.
Okay.
This is a predicament. Is this box on the ground mean anything?
Grease.
Or is it just a box? Grease?
Yeah,
you don't want to walk on it.
You don't want to walk on it. There's like a greasy spot in the middle of the field there, or the glade.
Set it on fire. See if fire affects them.
Well, someone just shot a firebolt.
One of them shot a firebolt through it, and it didn't do nothing.
Yep. Andal, give me an intelligence saving throw.
Okay.
Like radiant damage, holy clerical stuff?
It could just be an illusion, but...
Andal, as soon as you kind of been pondering this and sort of thinking about it, you pretty sure these things aren't actually here. In fact, now the more that you look at where the kind of the withered effect that's on Rasputin, you can now see that it looks like Rasputin might have just kind of cut himself as he was swinging wildly.
Guys, I don't think they're real.
Ah, okay.
I'm wondering that myself. Rasputin?
I think they don't exist. Rasputin, you cut your arm with your
That's an
axe.
illusion. I feel like it's a cartoon. Like, dude, you cut yourself.
Dude, you're hitting yourself. You look
Dude, stop
ridiculous.
Stop hitting yourself.
Dude, stop hitting
Why are you
yourself.
hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
As you shout that out,
You look ridiculous.
Andal, as you shout that out, you hear a very really tiny voice across the glade say, "Oh, stop figuring it out. Let us have our fun." And these things disappear.
Don't ever fucking think for a second.
But you still don't see anything else. You just hear the voice.
Can I?
You mean you no harm.
Where did it? What direction did it come from?
Well, you're standing approximately
Standing
here, so
Uh-huh.
from this direction.
Can I
Over
do a
here
perception check?
Sure.
I will use my eyeballs. Never mind.
You do not see anything with your eyeballs.
Guys, I was too busy getting mesmerized and then realizing I'm an idiot about fake things. I can't see anything real anymore.
Do you wish to do anything? Okay, you're gonna move to there. All right.
Guys, something's over there.
All right. Top of the round, Morgoth.
Taking things.
Well, this is a bit embarrassing.
Yeah, Rasputin's like, where did they go? Where did they go? Where did they go?
They're not real, buddy. They're fake.
And we heard somebody say, don't figure it out.
Yeah,
Right?
no, you heard a very tiny voice say, "You weren't supposed to figure it out. Let us have our fun."
Well, now that we have figured it out, will you stop?
Can't see them. You say that, nothing seems to, you don't get a response.
All right, I will roll to figure out the direction of the voice.
Oh, I just did something stupid. All right, give me a perception check. You look around in the direction that you think the voice came from, and you don't see anything there.
Okay.
And you guys are getting really bad perception rolls.
I'll
Yep.
stick with the group, though, I think.
All right. Anything else? So, Silva, you're
Nah.
up.
All right.
It's your
So,
turn, Silver.
right, I'm gonna scoot up. Oops. I'll go here. And I was all the way back here. Did I hear the voice?
Yeah, I mean,
No,
you guys
I could
heard
roll.
it. It was everybody heard the voice,
Yeah. Can I
and they
do
all the ghosts kind of just zapped out of existence right after that.
I'll roll me a perception check.
Okay.
See what I can get.
The voice came from this direction somewhere.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the best
sounds
I
about
can
right.
do for you, man.
I can't roll in any game, I guess. Whatever. All right.
All right, so Rasputin seems to be in just some kind of terror. He's just randomly swinging, and he does that for this entire thing. It's like, "Ah!"
Are we still going in initiative order?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Okay. Okay, so see. All right. Stay where he was at. As you guys watch, you see You see the ground around. Oh, dang, I can't quite get anybody. All right, so you see the ground around Rasputin suddenly just come alive as the grass itself starts grabbing at him. Strength saving throw or be restrained. So Rasputin needs to make a strength saving throw.
You know, if he steps to the upper right, he'll be slick, so I won't be able to grab him.
He makes it though. So he's able to rip himself out of the stuff as it starts grabbing at him. All right, that's that one. This one probably end after this round, by the way. This one does this. Okay, so he puts this one right here. 20 feet of current. Okay, so Artemis, Andal, Silva. How many hit points do you have?
I have 24.
Silva, how many do you have?
I have 20.
Andal, how many do you have?
I have 18.
How do you only have 18?
So I have a question.
And Silva has 20.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And this might be pertinent. Did we level the 3 at some point and I missed that?
Yes, we are level 3.
Yeah, I'm level 2 still.
You idiot.
I don't know. When did we level the 3?
It's been a little while.
Like a while back.
When, specifically?
I don't know. Like you guys are still in Tanalvar. Like it was before.
Yeah,
I think it
don't
was
know.
either before
Yeah.
or slightly. It was like after. Might have been after the last Goblin raid.
Yeah, I totally
it was
missed
in
that.
the big.
It's
We
probably
leveled
during
up
that.
after we went to the.
Yeah, it
Goblin.
was when I went and visited the temple and came back.
Oh,
you guys.
that, yeah.
Okay.
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I might have missed that.
All right. So you will have what? You have a. What's your?
I think it's D6. Is it a D6?
Plus con.
D8
For your
plus
mage.
con. So you'll have
A rogue maybe.
5 plus your con.
Which is
So 5 points. So you're at 23. All right. So according to this, you do it in ascending order. Silva, you feel really, really sleepy and you fall asleep.
Hooray. I needed a nap.
Starting with a creature
He
with
was already
that has the
No,
lowest
that's
current hit points.
not untrue.
Each creature affected by the spell falls unconscious until the spell ends. The sleeper takes damage or someone uses an act to subtract each creature's hit points from the total before moving on to the creature with the next lowest hit points.
Yeah,
It
they
doesn't
really
seem to
nerfed
have
it hard.
any saving throw available.
It doesn't, but
Yeah, it's
Alright.
just if you have more than.
So
roll
Silva,
higher
you
than
fall
less stuff.
asleep.
Yep.
And
but
nobody else
Green
is affected.
Out of
All right.
Silva falls asleep and no one else is affected. Let me kill this particular one because it's use. And we go on to the next of these creatures. This one fires an arrow at Rasputin. That
I really don't
hits
like them, huh?
Rasputin for 8
Oh.
points of damage.
ouch.
All right. And the next one, this one, fires an arrow at, well, misses, so it doesn't matter. At Andal, but misses. The next one is this one, also fires an arrow at Andal, and also misses. Wow, these guys are having a great old time.
Did you say we still can't
Casey.
figure out where they are?
You can't. You use arrow. See small little arrows, almost dart-like things, start start flying out at Andal. Silva just suddenly falls asleep. The area that you see that's around Rasputin here suddenly starts to wave and starts grabbing at him. That's all you're seeing at this point. The arrows definitely, the little darts and arrows definitely came from over in this direction, though, from over here somewhere. That you definitely see. 2, 3. Andal, you hear kind of fly by you, sort of like a almost like hummingbird wings or something like that.
Which side?
It's hard to say. It's just it's kind of comes near you, but hasn't seemed to fly all the way away from you. And then you feel a jab at your neck.
Ooh.
That one actually hits, and you take 9 points of piercing damage.
This guy.
Ow.
What the heck is that?
And another arrow comes flying out and at Rasputin, and unfortunately misses. And then last one here. Holy cow!
Yeah, that's a lot of them.
One more arrow comes flying out at Rasputin. He's a big guy, so and it misses because that's a 1. And Artemis, it is now your turn. Clearly, there is something going on because Silva is now asleep, prone and asleep.
So where's Silva? I'm gonna go 1. Well, crap. Why can't I move myself? There we go. 1 nudge Silva. Get up.
The sleep say you have to. What's it say?
It says,
Until the spell ends, the sleeper takes damage, or someone uses an action to shake or slap the
takes an
sleeper
action.
awake. So if you wish to use an action, you can wake her back up.
okay. So let me finish my turn, and I'll tell you what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
So I'm gonna use my owl senses to find. I hit advantage on sight and sound to find these little suckers, and then I want to point them out. Is that an action?
Yeah, that would be an action because you're gonna have to see through the owl to do
Okay, so it
this.
just says I can do it, but I can't use my own senses. That's the problem. But
Correct.
Okay. So
You're
since
not
that's
using your senses, you're using the familiar senses. When the familiar is within 100 feet of you, you can see through it, your familiar's eyes and hear what it hears until the start of your next turn, gaining the benefits of any special senses that the familiar has. But during this time, you personally are deaf and blind with regard to your own senses. So you can't see and hear, but you're seeing what the owl, seeing and hearing what the owl sees and hears. So let me give you an owl here real quick.
okay. And I'm assuming that I can't cast a spell using its senses. I wouldn't think so.
I believe the answer is probably no. But let me get your owl out on here and then I'll look at it. So we'll say he's like over here for now. So here's your owl.
That's fine.
Let me update him real quick so you guys can always friendly and you can always see his name. You should be able to see his name. And I don't think you can cast a spell through it. At least not at this level.
I can do a touch spell, but I can't. If I touch him, he can deliver a spell.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't
that's
think
all.
I could use him.
Yeah, I think that's all you can do.
Okay. Well, since I can't nudge, I'm going to go back. I'm going to get behind a tree. 2,
Okay.
3. Is there like a big rock or anything in this area? 1. That was 1. There's something I can hide behind with like 3/4 cover.
I mean, the trees are somewhat cover. I would say they're half cover, though. They're not 3/4. There's not really anything super 3/4 cover here, but it's half cover. I'd give you half cover for it.
Okay. So before I go back, I'm going to roll my owl senses to try to find these suckers, and it's just going to fly around, and then before I take cover, I'm pointing at where they are, hopefully if I find them.
All right. Well, you can only truly find one at a time, but make your roll, and I'll give you one of them.
Okay.
And then you'll because of various other things, you might have some
Okay.
ideas of where other ones are. Is the best way to put it. So make your roll.
So it's perception, but it's supposed to use his stats with advantage. So I don't know how that's going to work.
Well,
He has a perception of
oh, you can just click on
+3.
Yeah.
And he has
Perception
advantage.
is +3. So he
Dark
has
vision.
a 15 is what he has. Let's see here.
Yeah, he has keen hearing.
I would say that as he kind of flies, it will give him, what's his flight? 60 feet. So we'll say he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As he's flying through there, he kind of implies, you, as you're being part of his thing, notice that there is definitely something in this general area. He hears sort of a fluttering as if of wings.
So I can't actually see him.
No, you
Okay,
can't
so
see him. He literally
I'll tell him.
cannot see it. All he can do is hear it.
Okay. So I'm going to tell them there's sound coming from right there in front of the rock.
That's fine. That works. That works.
And then I'm going to go back into the woods and take as much cover as I can.
Okay.
That's my turn.
Sealgair, you're up.
Okay, so I'm gonna cast Detect Evil and Good.
Okay.
I'm gonna move before I do it. So I want to move, let's see, 30 feet. Put me right there in the bushes. Let's see.
So you don't have alignment. Detect evil and good. Detects certain things. It's fine that you cast it. I just have to remember what
Okay.
I changed it to. Is all. I have to check.
I added the spell manually to my spell book if
That's
that
fine.
helped.
That's
Okay.
fine.
I just put down like 10 uses because it says at will.
There's a way to do at will spells, but I can do it later.
So detect evil, and I'm also, as a bonus action, activating my Rite of Piercing. Let's see. Did that go? Did it cast?
I don't see it, but you cast it. All right. So within 30 feet of you, you can detect where something that is evil. There it goes. All right. So for the duration, you know if there is an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you, as well as where the creature is located.
Do I
Similarly,
have to center this on me?
yeah, it's on you because you have to cast it on yourself.
Got it.
So, similarly, you know if there is a place or object within 30 feet of you that has been magically consecrated or desecrated. Spell can penetrate most barriers, but it is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt. Within 30 feet of you, you know that there is a fey right here.
Okay, so I point exactly to the spot behind Andal and tell them it's right behind Andal, and I'm pointing exactly at it.
Okay. Andal, it is your turn, fortuitously.
Right behind me?
Yep.
Yep. I'm
Okay.
pointing exactly at it.
She is pointing right here.
So my archetype didn't give the archetype thing I have now read about.
Yeah, you will have to pick something. I don't remember what you picked.
I know which one I'm gonna pick. It just doesn't have anything for this specific thing, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
I will suddenly spin around and chop this man with my sword.
Okay, go for it. You do not have disadvantage because you're pretty sure it's right there, but you don't have advantage either. So, but 20 definitely hits.
He will get chopped.
And
Do not
you definitely
stab my neck.
You definitely feel it hit something. And you do 8 points of damage. And it needs to make a concentration check.
Ah, shit.
Which it makes. So
Makes it stupid.
and yeah, because it's half your damage. So and so it stays. You still can't see it, but you definitely feel it hit something.
Then how does that work?
And unfortunately, none of your allies are next to it. So.
Yeah, it's fine. Where's the thing?
I don't know what's. And clearly by now you know it's pixies because that's what's showing up in the thing.
Yeah. It was
Unfortunately.
sneaky using the undead thing earlier, though.
Yeah.
I like that.
No,
I will use
that's
my
what I
I'll
was
use
trying
my cunning action to disengage,
Okay, sounds like a good plan.
and then I'm gonna go over by the person who can see the pixies.
She doesn't see them; she just knows where they're at. Like
That's good enough for me.
yeah. I mean, you don't really see them; you just know in a vague sense. Oh, it's right there.
Although I
Magically.
don't want to stand like directly on top of it.
Okay.
They have magic, and then they can blast us. That sounds like crap.
And that is where we'll end today, since it's now 5 o'clock. You have clearly engaged what is probably what's going on in this woods.
And so they
it-
cast the sleep spell, so now I know that they can cast spells, right?
I have to look exactly what it is. Yes, they're definitely casting spells of some sort, for sure. I just have to determine if it's like I have to look at the Order of Inquisition just to make sure
Yeah.
that it's any spell.
Yeah, I think the way
That's
it's
all.
intended is if they're
Yeah,
a spellcaster,
I believe
hit
you're.
them.
I believe you are correct too. I just wanted to read it again real quick just to make sure. That's all. I believe it's any spellcaster. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was painful.
And you deal damage with a creature who can cast spells. Yeah, they are casting spells. I don't think they're at like some of them are at will, but most of them are innate spell casting. So that means that they actually can cast spells. So yep, they have that part. So you will be able to do extra damage with your Hemocraft.
So does that stack with my like mark?
Yeah.
So that would be 3d4?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The whole point of the Order of Inquisition and the Seer religion is to get rid of spellcasters. So yes, that is the intent.
I cast a spell to get rid of the spellcasters.
But yeah, as of right now, you can only see the one in your 30 feet. So clearly, you're pretty sure there's more than that one, but that's the only one you can detect.
Well, I pointed at the other one too. So.
Yeah, and you know that there's
There's,
one.
like,
You
bunches.
definitely know that there's one over here somewhere.
Yeah, and I can move through the bushes to try to
Yeah,
scout
you can
out.
totally move. It's part of your thing. I'm just saying that the only one you currently see is that particular one. Yeah, that is where we'll stop for this session. I hope you guys. I believe we'll get through this particular adventure next time. No, I believe we will. There's this one is intended to be a side quest of some sort, so it's not going to be. There's not a lot to it. There's just a little more to it past this.
Yeah, I mean, mostly we're just wasting time with the box.
Yes,
Well,
you guys
I-
spent a lot of time with that
we,
box.
I think we pissed somebody off and got another villain potentially. But
This is probably, in all the years I've been playing, this is the first time I've used Detect Evil and Good. I've never really been interested in it, but I think in this fight, I'm really glad I've got it.
No,
Oh, yeah.
definitely, because these guys have greater invisibility, so
Yeah.
them attacking doesn't cause it to go away.
Also known as garbage.
yeah. Well,
These guys
hopefully,
are
I'm
nasty.
surprised they have that many hit points. To be honest, but I guess you only did 8.
That was a lot for that guy. Let's put it that way. He
Yeah,
only
well,
did 8. It is if you guys get some people next to them and Andal is able to start doing stuff,
Oh,
these
yeah.
guys are going to go down like so fast.
Yeah, I just wish I had some air effects, which I don't.
I must
All right.
strike.
Until next time.
All right.
Thanks.
Talk to you later.
Yep.